Okay, let's get started.
Just raise your glasses high. This one's sweet.
Amy,
Riley.
notice anything different about me?
If you're not watching this on YouTube, Riley is wearing sunglasses and he looks like one of the little 3 blind mice.
I feel. What do they look like again? I forget.
Mice wearing sunglasses.
What's up with them?
They can't see.
What are they from?
Well, I think isn't that just like a lore, like a fairy tale or something?
3 blind mice.
But then I think they were featured in like Shrek or something.
So it's not the Cinderella mice, right?
No.
And it's not part of the Partridge in a Pear Tree song.
Not that.
Okay.
Not Stuart Little, not any
Okay,
of
well,
those. But yeah, we're yet again recording at sundown.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. The light hits my seat at a very unique angle. It's kind of fun, but it's only for YouTube. If you're listening to audio, you might be like, what the hell is going on? I thought I feel a lot more cool with these sunglasses on.
I'll have to figure out what you're feeling because I can't gaze into your eyes.
Do you normally take cues from how my eyes light up?
Yeah, I'm like, he looks upset. He looks angry.
I didn't know. That could be one of the secrets to the Turtle Time. What is that called? Secrets that make us good, right?
Yeah, this could be a disaster.
Well, how about I do you a favor, and when I feel like the sun is not blasting me in the eyes, I'll look at you with my eyes without sunglasses on. Would
That's
that be
good.
cool?
Yeah, I don't want you to get retinal damage.
Yeah. But anyway, I feel cool, and I feel ready to talk about a bunch of the shit that happened
Cool.
in the Bravo universe. Do you feel good about it?
I feel good. I've been very distracted. I saw Challengers on Sunday,
Oh, how was it?
and I'm a new woman.
Really? It reawakened you?
Yeah, I think I have like a whole new lease on life and potentially a new sexual identity. I don't know. There's a lot going on for me right now. I really enjoyed it.
Whoa! Walk me through it. I feel like we both have new identities. I'm a sunglasses guy, and you're a post Challengers woman. Tell me,
Yeah.
please. I would love to hear about this new identity.
I don't know, just like the cuties on screen and
Zendaya,
yeah.
and then who are those other 2 guys?
Josh O'Connor and Mike Feist.
Okay, I've never seen them before.
Mike Feist was in the 2021 West Side Story, which I was obsessed with at the time and obsessed with him very much.
Oh wow!
And then I sort of like let it slide and forgot about him, even though I'll tell anyone who will listen that he should have won an Oscar for West Side Story.
Wow!
Best Supporting. But this reawoke the flame, and apparently a lot of people online agree. There's stiff competition.
When you say flame, like, can I just say it? Are you talking about? Is it a movie? Can I say it?
Go
Is
ahead.
it a movie that makes people really horny?
Absolutely.
So people are walking out of the theaters horny as
The
hell?
seats are wet.
Whoa! Where did you see it at?
Where did I go? Americana.
Wow! So there's soaking wet seats at the Americana.
Destroyed.
Oh my God! What is that? The Burbank 16?
That's a different theater.
Oh, okay, my bad. Wow, so people are so horny for what's happening on screen that it made you really horny and rethink a lot of things?
It's just like really fun, a fun watch.
Okay.
It has a fun score. It's
Trent Reznor?
yeah. It's like Vampire Club music.
Oh, cool.
It's like, I don't know, and they like play with it a lot. It's kind of I don't know, unusual the way they deploy the music. Like it'll be like while they're talking, it'll be like to build tension, it'll be like unexpected, but like all the music is that vibe like the whole time.
Is the music horny as well?
Yeah, it kind of puts you in like a like a nightclub vibe.
Did this trailers not do this movie justice? Because I honestly didn't think much of it from just the first trailer. Do you think it was? Should I just go in blind and hope
With your sunglasses?
go in with these sunglasses and be ready to get fully horny after watching it?
Yeah, I would say. I bet that like I'm very curious. I ran into some of my straight male acquaintances on my way out, they had already seen it. And I feel like they weren't as affected sexually as the females or gays.
Whoa.
Because I will say, it's not just what you see, it's like what you don't see. Like it's like very
Suggestive?
tease, and I would call it edging vibes.
Oh, like so working you up to the point where, but then not.
Yeah, it's just
ever.
like nonstop the whole time where you're just like,
Wow. Is it kind of like E2 Mama Tambien a little bit?
oh wow, I haven't seen that in a long time. But yeah, that's like kind of like a like threesome situation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's not like that. I don't really remember the plot of that, except it's like young boys and an older woman, right? And they're like traveling.
Yeah,
and,
they
like,
take her on a trip, but they both secretly want to make love to her. But then they end up, spoilers for E2 Mama Tambien, she makes love to both of them independently, but then she realizes that or knows that they have a secret desire to have sex with each other as well. And so they ultimately have sex with each other. And then it ends their friendship forever. And then, unfortunately, spoilers alert, the woman that went on this trip dies of cancer.
Oh. Womp womp.
So
I
is
do
it-
love those fellows though as well.
Oh, yeah, of
They're
course.
fun.
Diego Luna and Gail.
Garcia Bernal.
Yeah, of course. Oh, two wonderful people.
Hotties of a different time.
Well, cool. Well, you just sold me one for challengers, please.
Yes,
I'm gonna
absolutely. No, my TikTok has been extremely taken over. Unfortunately, Mike Feist is like a very respectable man who's not online at all, so I have to recycle a lot of the content.
That you've already seen.
Yeah, I'm watching West Side Story clips on YouTube like a fiend.
Is he hot in that?
Yeah.
Oh wow! Oh my god! I'm gonna watch West Side Story too. I've never seen the original, which I know is bad, but I wanted to watch that first and then watch Spielberg's. But everyone who's seen the Spielberg one says it's a slam dunk.
It rocks.
Wow.
I wouldn't shut up about it like whenever it came out 3 years ago.
Talk
I was like
about-
running around like, hello, what is everyone doing?
Talk about people not telling you when things are good, like, and letting people just like, no one said, hey, I wish I would have known you when you were talking about West Side Story, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch that. I love Spielberg.
Yeah,
and
it's great.
how's the other person in it that's not Zendaya?
Ansel.
Yeah, is he good?
Oh, sorry.
Oh no,
I was still on West Side.
Oh yeah, in Challenge.
Josh O'Connor, he's great. It's like a perfect. They're all good, but specifically because I'm a misogynist, the boys are really good, and they play different personality types. And ultimately, like, I won't spoil anything, but like basically they're all kind of assholes in a different way.
Wow.
So it's kind of a curious. Like, I'm excited to see it again, and I'm excited to talk to people about when they see it, because I feel like it's a good litmus test of like who you think is the asshole.
Oh, cool.
You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah. Of all three of them?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
can't-
I feel like they all are in a certain way, but I think some people could say one is justified, but I feel like they're all like dicks at different times.
Cool. Wow. So, what's the director who made it? He's the Call Me by Your
Luca
Name.
Guadagnino.
Wow. So he did it again.
He's
Some
done
would
it
say.
again.
Well, that's amazing. Well, good. Well, that's a huge endorsement for challengers. You just sold me. I swear.
I decided I had to use my whatever clout I have to get the asses in seats.
Get asses in seats. Is it doing okay at the box office?
I don't know if it was a real smash. I feel like it's kind of a hard sell because besides Zendaya, like, they're kind of no names, you know?
I think that they could have tweaked that trailer and added a little more of what you're talking about. I don't remember Vampire Club music. I don't remember me thinking that it was going to be extremely horny experience when I was watching it. It seemed like a sports movie that had a little bit of sexuality.
It's like a weird movie. Like, I could see like, I think some people will hate it and they'll be like, what the fuck did you make me watch?
Really?
Because it's like odd.
I love even the fact that you say it's divisive. Like, even
Yeah.
if it's just like you could hate it, I like those movies more than just a conventionally like everyone thinks it's good movie.
No, it makes very specific choices. There's a lot of like slow-mo and like sweat.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Okay, well, whoa, holy shit! All right, well, I'm gonna go see it. I swear, Friday night. I think I'm gonna take
Hell
a
yeah.
photo of me in the theater. I'm gonna send it to you because I
Please.
want to see it.
Text me.
So, in addition to challengers, which I think that's gonna be fun as hell, I'm excited that there's a good movie out. I feel like we're in a dearth of good movies.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't watch Godzilla vs Kong. I didn't watch The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
I'm not watching any of that garbage.
I'm seeing Fall Guy this
Oh
weekend.
yeah, Steven Spielberg liked that. Speaking of him,
It'll be fun.
he complimented Ryan Gosling. He
He
goes,
did?
"I just got out of a screening, and goddamn, Ryan, you have what it
They
takes."
should work together. He said, I'll say one last thing about Mike Feist. I watched a little featurette about Steven Spielberg talking about him, and he said that he was willing to delay the making of the movie to cast him.
Whoa,
That's
what
how
did he-
bomb.com he is.
What did Spielberg see Mike Feist in that he had to get him for West Side Story?
I mean, maybe it was just this audition. He's like, the thing is, he's a Broadway baby, so
Oh.
he's a song and dance man, which unfortunately is very attractive to me.
What do you mean, unfortunately? That's cool.
Kind of embarrassing.
That's really
He
cool.
has me out on these streets watching Dear Evan Hansen clips because he was in that.
Dear Evan Hansen, what was that?
A big musical.
Oh, cool. Okay. So did Spielberg see him on Broadway,
Probably.
and then he said, "I have to get this"?
I must have him.
Wow, that's awesome. Spielberg is so cool. You know what
Yeah.
I think is so nice is that Spielberg and Martin Scorsese, say what you will about how old they are, 80, they're pioneering the next generation of people who are old that can do a lot of cool shit still.
Yeah.
Like Spielberg movies, well, I think we've already talked about this before, but like you would never take away the last 20 years of Spielberg movies.
Yeah.
Bridge of Spies, West Side Story, Fablemans. They're like,
Yeah.
they're the first generation of people that are able to like prolong their filmography
Yeah.
into their 80s. I'm proud of them.
Yeah, I need to show you a clip after of the Jets in West Side Story film a scene, and it's like perfect. And there's a clip of Spielberg showing it to them after they cut. He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt and like a Cubano hat and smoking a cigar, and the boys just watched the clip, and they're all like singing along, and they're like, when it cuts, they're all like, yeah, and Spielberg just like has a cigar, and he's like, we nailed it.
Really? Spielberg with a cigar?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. Will you send me that clip after? I gotta see that kind of stuff.
I'm gonna send. Trust me, the floodgates are open. I will send.
Okay, good. My love of cinema is dying. So I need the spark that you just got at the theater. I
Yeah.
need that relit.
Oh, it
I'm
made
dying.
me like do a backflip.
Oh my god. All right. Well, that's good. That's very good. What the hell? Oh, let's talk about some of this other shit that's going on.
Yeah, sorry, I got us off track.
No, I
but-
love it. No. I love talking about beautiful films and anything that gets. I think it's right that you're telling people about challengers.
Yeah,
With this, it might be the biggest challenger weekend once people hear what we have to say.
we do have that clout.
I was gonna say, because like Spielberg and Martin Scorsese, do you think we'll do Turtle Time into our 80s?
Can you imagine?
What
We're
Bravo
like
will be
this
like?
week on Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah, it'd be fun. So I think the biggest news. I mean, big news. Well, I don't know if it's that big, and I don't know if it matters. I don't know
Yeah.
if it changes anything, but TMZ reported they had their like I don't know what happened. You know, TMZ has reporters that can get to anywhere, but they found out that Vanderpump Rules is going to pause filming this summer, and for the first time ever.
Yeah,
And I think they're going to push it back indefinitely, but we don't know when they're going to push it back to. But they said, first of all, when I saw that, I was like, oh, God, that's a really bad sign.
Yeah.
Like, pushing back filming from the coveted summer months that they
Right.
do every year. But they said there's no big reason why, if you believe them. They just said that it's because they feel like Vanderpump Rules, they've been filming constantly since Scandoval, and they haven't had a real break to actually have life,
Yeah.
post Scandoval. So they want to give them like this 6-month window to do new stuff, start new relationships, like have a life post Scandoval before they pick up again.
right.
Otherwise, there might be a worry that we're still in this post Scandoval haze and they're just about to film in 2 months, and they don't want it to be, I think, like very connected thematically to season 11, which
Yeah.
I think everyone realizes that is kind of a mixed bag, you know?
Right. So they're really not going to capture something about her's era at all.
Yeah,
It
I
could
mean,
be close by then.
you think it? No, I mean, I think it will be flourishing, but you're right that it's not. They can't really line it up well. Like they're not properly able to line it up with filming, I don't think.
Yeah, because what they said, it's opening May 22nd or something.
May 22nd. But also it could be, I mean, it's a bummer for them that they don't get the opening on it, but also it may be a good thing that like 6 months later it might be tried and true
Right.
and ready for a hard launch
Yeah.
to the world.
Although Ariana's going to be gone all summer filming, right?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Love Island.
Island.
So people
Yeah.
also say, I think they mentioned in the TMZ article, they say, obviously if Ariana's filming Love Island, like hosting it, that, maybe they push back for her. But also, I feel like Ariana. I think I read something that Ariana hasn't definitively said if she'll come back for season 12.
Okay.
So, what do you think? What do you think? Is it a good thing that Vanderpump Rules is pausing for the summer?
I mean, in one sense, I think it is, because I agree that like this season probably started too soon and it's just kind of dull. Like the topic is like boring at this point.
Yeah.
They've like nothing going on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I feel like it could all fall apart in that time.
That's the biggest con of this whole thing for me. I was like, you don't know what's going to happen in 4 months or 5 months. Like Ariana could get another gig that like precludes her from properly filming. Like if she wanted to take other stuff, like when there was the gap in filming on Vanderpump Rules during COVID, that's when Jax and Brittany fell through the fray because I feel like they got indignant about starting to film or whatever, and then that's when they got fired. So you don't really know what's going to happen. It might not just work perfectly when you pick up cameras in September or you know. So I worry about that. I think it definitely speaks to the quality of season 11.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's enough going on with Schwartz and Sandoval now and Ariana in a relationship where it's like they do have major things happening in their lives to focus on. So I think it's just like they want to get them out of this mindset, you know, a little bit more.
Yeah.
Before they film, but I don't know. I'd be slightly worried. It's not like, you know, I'd be a little worried, I guess, if I were them, or things might change.
I know. And I feel like they're, you know, from what they've said about their finances in the past, it sounds like they really depend on that timeline.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like they're like, okay, like check comes in summer or like whatever. And I feel like, what are they going to do?
I know. I worry about that too. I worry that they might have blown their load. No, you know, not to be crude, but they might have like counted on season 12 because the ratings are still really good. So they might have counted on the timeline of season 12 and they all made like big decisions in their life. They thought the money train would keep rolling on by. So yeah, I mean, it's probably a shock to them as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's not
At
it's
least
not
they
a
all
good
have
sign.
podcasts.
They all have podcasts. I was thinking like for Lala, like, you know, sometimes like when the season starts, like it allows for you to have redemption potentially, like when we finally get it or whatever. But now like people who are mad at Sheena and Lala and Sandoval, they kind of have their arcs postponed a little bit.
Yeah.
Like Lala might be kind of stuck in this hate period for a really long time with no chance to redeem herself. Like if people hate what she did in the reunion of season 11 and absolutely can't stand her time to redeem herself in the public's eyes is now going to be like
frozen.
But yeah, you know what I mean? Like they're going to be stuck in the state that they were left at with no chance to redeem themselves early.
Right. Although I feel like, at least for her, like, when is she due?
I think August. I think 2 weeks.
So that's kind of clutch for her, actually. She can just, like, chill with her baby for a long time.
Yeah. You think Lala will be invited back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think anyone's getting the boot.
You don't think?
You do?
I mean, no, probably not. No, they have such a limited cast now. There's only like,
if
what,
anything,
7 of them?
they're going to add.
Yeah, I think they would try to add. I don't know. I mean, this is...
Give Kyle Chan an apple, so to speak.
I was just thinking, I watched Kyle Chan in this week's episode. I was like, give Kyle Chan that
I mean, they certainly
apple.
put him to work.
Yeah, he was
like, step into my office. We need to have a conversation.
He was at the ring store. He goes, Sheena and Tom Sandoval, let me tell you what I'm worried about. I'm worried about you guys not getting along potentially
Like
at
he's
my
the
whiskey
new
party.
Lisa?
Yeah, it was kind of giving that a little bit. Yeah, give him that, the coveted cast member spot. I don't know. I agree with you that it's like it might be good for storylines, but also you have no idea what the hell could happen if you do this.
If someone told you in 2015 that guy Kyle Chan, that like was their jeweler, would play an integral role in the show 10 years from now, would you have believed your future self?
I don't think I would have been that surprised, to be honest. I'm proud of I think that yeah, I mean, Well, you know, he's coming he's coming into the frame more because Tom Sandoval has no one to film with.
Yeah.
So Kyle Chan is like the one, in addition to Billy Lee, that he's like, Kyle gets screen time because Tom Sandoval has no one else to film with properly. So I think it's kind of just, what's that called? It's by accident why Kyle Chan is a part of the season in such a big way.
I mean, I would prefer Kyle Chan to Billy Lee.
I think so too.
Also, I think for some reason, we've said it before, but like he's beloved by all.
I know. I think that you could kind of see in the scene with Sheena and Tom Sandoval that he just has sort of a way of talking to everybody where no one can get mad at him, really.
Yeah. I feel like Kristen needs him on the Valley as an ally.
Oh, I definitely think so. I think Kyle Chan would, be very needed there.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, I was thinking the one last thing about the pause is that I think it might be fun that we get to see them in a new season of life. If they do pick it up in October or something, we get to see them all on Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas. Does any of that hold any?
No pride.
No pride. I know.
I mean, there was no pride this year.
Yeah, no. Everything is going to change. I mean, all the birthdays that we've become accustomed to watching, like Ariana and Lala's, everything's going to change. We're going to see new birthdays on the show. We're going to see what Lisa and Ken do for Christmas. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
We're going to see them have Halloween parties. I think it's
true.
kind of wild.
Yeah. I know. It's so weird. Different shows just have different parts of the year represented.
Yeah, I think Jersey is Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Pinoli cookies.
Yeah.
That's coming back.
I know, in like 1 week.
Jeez.
This will be, right now, is the biggest drought in Housewives history since I think Obama was president.
Yeah.
And now finally that'll end with New Jersey airing.
I love whoever pulled that stat. Like, so specific.
Yeah. Okay, well, pausing, that could be good. It could be really bad. We won't know. And what was the other story that we had to talk? Oh, something about her officially?
Oh, yeah. Opening soon. They said it on Watch What Happens Live, so they can't go back on it.
May 22nd. They said if you want to get there early, they said May 21st, the night before, anybody can camp out in front of it. So I was thinking if you want to, I have a tent and we could just, where the patio area used to be?
Yeah.
We can kind of just put our tent there, May 21st, the night, and then wake up and have something about her if you want.
Do they have breakfast sandwiches?
I think they'll probably open at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
And we can just get whatever sandwich appeals to you the most at that time.
Do you think they decided to announce it on the same episode where they revealed the drama with Penny as a fuck you to Penny?
Yes, I do. I think they did that. I was kind of shocked to learn that Chef Penny news.
Yeah. Did you see on the after show, Brock was like, I did a little research of my own. I'm like, damn, this guy is like really trying to come up with drama somewhere.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, Brock, what the hell are you doing looking up the trademarks for something about her? He said that something about her trademark, logo or whatever, is owned by Chef Penny's lawyer husband.
Yeah. So what does that mean? Did they have to like buy it back from her, or are they just like, that's happening in the background, drama over that?
I mean, I don't know if Chef Penny would allow it.
Right.
Like, do you think they gave Chef Penny too much runway at the very start of something about her in the process, and they said, go get the trademark, go to all this stuff, and now Penny is holding on for dear life with all of the stuff that she did. It might be a little bit of a
what if she shuts it down?
Oh my God. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think Brock was right. I mean, I think that has to be the truth if he saw Chef Penny's husband's name in there.
Yeah, they were like, you're gonna have to change it back to Once Upon a Tom, and then James was like, Once Upon a Sandwich, and then he was like, they better add Sloppy Joe to the menu. I was like, it's not gonna.
Yeah. He was still
we gotta drop it.
One of them said breadcrumbs. Oh yeah, which I like. I kind of like that sandwich name.
A sandwich shop called Breadcrumbs.
Yeah, why don't you like that?
It's not very satiating.
Because you think it'd be like.
You're like, you get crumbs here.
Okay, I thought it was just kind of breadcrumbs to me. Don't have like I don't. It kind of sounded fun.
Nothing but crumbs.
Maybe that's not a good title. I like something about her, to be honest. Are you well, good. Okay, well, Vanderpump Rules is doing really good. Was there anything else we want to talk about before we actually get into the episode? I don't think there's any other. Oh, yeah, there's one last thing. Ariana put up her motion to
this is important.
Yeah, this is important. Ariana Madix said, Rachel Leviss, you can't sue me. I'm giving you a slap order.
Yeah,
so,
she's trying to cock block the suit.
Yeah. So I'm not a lawyer. Amy, you're not a lawyer, right?
Not yet.
So some of this, we're going to become lawyers, but the details of this, I don't know. So if you're a lawyer listening to this must be the worst experience ever to hear two people talk about lawsuits and stuff. But there's a slap order or something. It's like a
countersuit.
It's a countersuit. It's a motion to dismiss.
Uh-huh.
It's actually like, Your Honor, please, there's a bunch of stupid shit in this lawsuit. Please, for the love of God, slap it down. That's where that slap word comes from. And Ariana's saying this lawsuit, Your Honor, is about revenge for the fallout of Scandoval, because Rachel Leviss' reputation was ruined. So she's trying to take it out on me and Tom Sandoval, Your Honor.
Yeah.
And then in the motion to file or whatever, it says the origin story of Scandoval in the court document, which you saw.
Yeah.
And it said 2 women were in the bathroom with Ariana when she found out that when she watched the video of Rachel doing that thing on the...
It was like... I love, because we talked about in Rachel's suit how flowery the language was.
Yeah.
And this had flourishes as well, where it was like, call it the intuition of a woman.
Yeah.
But I had a gut feeling I needed to check his text. I was like, oh, this is like, literary.
Right. Yeah, that was good.
But yeah, she said she took her phone in with his phone and recorded his phone from hers. And it was like, while women waited to use the toilet.
Yeah.
Like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And those were your wife and our friend.
Yes. So I said on TikTok, I said, Rachel. Sorry. That was in the motion to dismiss. And then Rachel's lawyers, I saw on page 6, they said something like, this fairy tale version of the origin of Scandoval is absolutely ludicrous. There is no way this happened. So, Your Honor, you have to dismiss this entire motion to dismiss, because this is the most fanciful version of the origin of Scandoval we've ever heard. And so I said on TikTok, I said, this is the true origin of Scandoval, because my wife and our very good friend were in the toilet at the same time when Ariana was in the stall looking at this video.
Yeah,
so
you can check back on our first episode. We laid it out.
Oh, what was our first episode called?
It was like it was something Scandoval.
It was a good title. The very first episode of Turtle Time. We lay out the entire thing. What was that called? Anyways, our Scandoval episode, the very first episode. But I said on TikTok, I go, Rachel Leviss, you better tell your lawyers that they're lying to page 6 right now. They're lying.
Objection.
I have an objection. Can people just in the normal world object to slap lawsuits? I said, I have an objection, Your Honor and Rachel. Your lawyers are lying about the origins of Scandoval, because my wife and our friend were in the toilet right next to Ariana when she was looking at this video. Yeah. And then Ariana's lawyer emailed me.
How did she get your email?
Because apparently someone on TikTok said, whoever Ariana's lawyer is, I'm not going to say that. I won't go that far. Ariana has legal representation. They reached out to me through my email, and they said, can you please, you and your wife, verify what you said in your TikTok? Do you object strenuously to this motion to dismiss, and will you verify and back up what you said? And I said, absolutely, yes.
It's only right.
It's only right. We're defending Ariana. We know that this is true, and I will not, this is the one part of Scandoval that I know is true and real.
Yeah. Cameras were down.
This is it.
We were there.
We have firsthand knowledge, and we know. My wife saw it. Ariana burst out of the lavatory with all of her might, with the rage of someone who had just seen a compromising FaceTime video.
Yes.
So now we're potentially, we're in the, I'm not going to say witness protection, but we're being a part of the, court of law.
And I know that we bullshit a lot, but this actually
happened. This is true. We're not entering witness protection unless for some reason Rachel Leviss' lawyers, what if it gets like insider? What if he comes like the insider?
I hope that your pregnant wife has to wear like a Chanel suit and go in and be like, like holding her belly. Like,
She will.
it was so stressful.
She will. She's gonna dress like Boardwalk Empire. Have you ever seen that? Anyway, no, for sure, absolutely. So, but I feel good. I feel like it is our civic duty to tell the world what truly happened. We were in the toilet there, and I think that Rachel Leviss, no matter what you think of her, like no matter what if you think she's a horrible person or whatever, I understand. But I just want her to know that her lawyers are lying. About the origins of Scandoval.
Yeah.
She should know that the people that representing her, if they're going to get that fact wrong and say that in the press in page 6, what other facts are they going to get wrong when she's doing this lawsuit?
Right.
I've never been able to personally deny or be able to back up a false claim.
Yeah. She's going to be bummed out. She watches your shit.
Rachel, I have to say this. I really have to say this. I think you have to know that you're printing falsehoods in page 6, and your lawyers are running fake news in a very, very this is a real case, a real lawsuit. Yeah. So
I'll never forget it. I went because remember we went for the watch party. They put us in the worst seats imaginable in the back where we couldn't see shit. So then we left our jackets on those chairs, but went to a different section. So at the point that it became clear we were never returning to our old seats, I went to retrieve my jacket, at which point I saw Ariana screaming about Tom's phone. Yeah. And I was like, she's on one. No clue what she's talking about. And then I came out, and then Megan and Lindsay had their story. And I was like, yeah, something's going on.
Yes, exactly that. And people tried to say that it's so fanciful that Ariana, that his phone dropped out of his pocket and all that shit. It's all real. It all happened.
Call it women's intuition.
Yeah, she knew. I mean, she knew that there was something going wrong with Tom Sandoval.
Although Sandoval apparently now is saying that it wasn't a recording of that he didn't record her FaceTime, that she sent him something that was recorded, even though from what I've heard from all accounts, it's very clearly a FaceTime.
Yeah, and he's in the little square.
Right.
So if you're in the little square, that it's, I mean, that, I don't want to get into that. That's his own journey. Tom Sandoval, you've got your work cut out for you. That's
bad.
That's bad. But Ariana, you're in the clear legally. My wife and I have your back completely, Ariana. And
yeah, that's the one area where I'm I would be so furious if I was Ariana, because it's why are you bothering involving her? Go after him. That's fine. Do that whole thing. You should.
I know.
But just let her out of it. Come on.
I agree. I don't know why Rachel would add to Ariana's misery after already kind of ruining her life, for a period of time.
If I had to deal with this many lawsuits a full year after getting thrown that bombshell, I'd be so pissed.
Yeah.
That's such a drain on your energy.
But this might be the last little thread of Scandoval that Ariana has to deal with, because she's got the new house. She's going to host Love Island. She's going to get a break from filming, which I think Ariana probably needs.
She'll love it.
She's so busy that she can't even watch Vanderpump Rules.
Andy seemed kind of pissed.
Yeah, he's pissed, but I mean, I don't know if she actually has enough time. I'm not defending out of school. I would say you have to watch the show. But I do think I mean, how much time does she have in the day? The Chicago schedule, however many shows. I mean, I know, but it's it would take a lot of time to catch up.
Andy was would have been cool if you watched any of the episodes before the reunion.
That's bad. I do think that she
was
should have.
I know.
Yeah, I do think that she should have known what the hell everyone's talking about at the reunion. I don't know how she's going to be able to navigate the reunion without knowing what happened.
Well, you can tell even on the after show, they'll be we got to see your date with Dan, and she's like, oh yeah.
She was kinda,
she forgot.
She has to use her own memory.
Yeah.
Just her memory to rely to.
So it's
think
kind
about
of
these things again.
A little bit whatever, she's thriving, she's making cash or whatever, but it makes her slightly useless as a commentator if she doesn't know what she's referencing or what people have said about her or whatever. Because the whole plot is moving forward with people either betraying her or agreeing with her or whatever, and it's happening without her knowledge.
True. Yeah, she's kind of she's kind of surprised. When she learns what Lala said, she's kind of what? I didn't see any of that.
Yeah.
I thought I have no idea what she's been saying in her
that's a chill way to live, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Do you think that this is the last question I'll ask, and then we can do a certified turtle piss break and then talk about Vanderpump Rules. But do you think Ariana, who already I feel like didn't love the Vanderpump Rules experience overall up until season 10, do you think now she's got enough irons in the fire and enough clout and this break and Love Island hosting, like she's on the path to just being a known entity that can almost transcend anything?
Yeah.
You know, do you think, would she ever want to come back to season 12? Is there anything in it for her to come back?
Right. I mean, I don't think she wants to, but it's that question of like, how long do those opportunities persist when you don't have the main thing that ties
The
you
fuel.
to fame
Right.
anymore?
Like we're going to see the limits of that with Rachel Leviss, no offense, but it's like if you've only had, like once your impact on the show that you originated from is gone, how long can you last on it?
Right.
You know, a little bit. So
Yeah, my podcast app automatically started playing Rachel Goes Rogue. Like it was just the next thing, and I was like putting together furniture and I didn't have the energy to turn it off. So I just listened to it and I was like, yeah, this is
yeah.
not a lot left.
There's not a lot
to
left.
say.
It's running on fumes a little bit, and she's going to lose the pretense that she says. She goes, well, if they're going to tell my story, you know, on that show, then I'm going to tell my story in the real life. And it's like, well, they're not going to talk about you very much longer. I
Right.
think that's definitely going to end, you know,
Yeah.
very soon. So, you know, the premise of your podcast is not going to, I don't know, it doesn't have a lot
Right.
of longevity.
Yeah.
So, well, I don't know. I feel like Ariana has put in the time on Vanderpump Rules, and I don't know. I don't know if she should ever go back or would want to.
Yeah. I guess it's like, it's one thing if you're sort of like an oddity, for lack of a better word, like Luann or Sandoval, where it's like tongue in cheek, or like even like Sonia's show,
Yes.
where it's like, that's like a personality thing where if you're a Bravo fan, that can last a long time because you're like, they're this crazy person from Bravo. It's like silly, but it's a lot of fun, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're like a serious, like normal person, then it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of know what you mean. Like a Bravo celebrity kind of means different things, right? Like
Right.
Sonia is a very
Like everyone's like, she fell off her chair. It was fucking funny. Like she was like slurring her words. Like
Yeah.
it's like for like kind of a joke. Sorry.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, well that's good. I mean, we talked about a lot of good stuff. Do you want to take a certified turtle piss break and then talk about Vanderpump Rules?
Let's do it.
Did you like this week's episode?
This
of
episode
Vanderpump
was
Rules?
kooky.
Yeah, I thought it was kooky. I thought it was bad.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
We're like, again, running on fumes here.
I think this is the episode they watched when they said, "Let's pause production."
Yeah. Is there only one more, or there's
Yes, there's one more.
like, what the hell? Is this
It's-
like the shortest season
Yes,
in history?
it is. I think 16 episodes without a reunion is the anomaly of a shortest season. Like the OC, if it's not working,
Yeah.
a Bravo show gets 16 main episodes before the reunion. 15 is unheard of. And this was, you could have cut that San Francisco boat trip. Like they were,
Yeah.
they're talk about running on fumes. I was
I
like,
know. I
this-
feel like they've been leading to this trip for so long, and I'm like, and this is what it was: them buying hoodies
This
and
could-
like going on a booze cruise.
this whole thing could have been on the cutting. Brock's
Yeah.
roaring 20s dinner party at like,
Wow,
I mean,
Bravo's oldest trope.
yeah, it was rough, and yeah, let's talk about it.
All right.
We're back.
Hello.
So, Vanderpump Rules, episode 14, season 11. It was called For Old Tom's Sake.
Yeah.
I have to say, I'm going to be honest. This was really bad.
Yeah.
This was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a couple other stinkers. We've said it. The one at the Belmont where they had no justification for why they went.
Oh yeah. Didn't we get a comment about that?
Yes.
That was good.
Yeah, it was great. Villa Rosa VIP commented and said Kyle Chan had this craft party at his workshop. He's been making, I guess he has like a sort of workshop where he makes a bunch of different crafts. Anyway, he had this and it had everybody there, but then they cut that scene completely and just had the aftermath of the Belmont. So that's why that scene made no sense.
Right.
So there would have been even more Kyle Chan.
Crazy.
So anyway, it was good to know that Belmont thing just wasn't that sloppy. Well, but it kind of was sloppy. I mean,
Yeah.
we shouldn't have to know where a flashback scene came from to
Right.
know why they're all at the Belmont. But this was just a shitty mess. I mean, Lala's birthday party sucked.
Yeah,
The El
waste
Rey
of time.
show sucked. What else was in there? Like, I mean, like the San Francisco trip so far sucks.
Yeah.
Why the hell did they do that? I mean, the 1920s dress and stuff. Like, I was just like, this is a rough end to Vanderpump Rules season 11. And also, we know that like the finale party has that deranged fan
right.
that's like gonna throw a bunch of stuff and get in a fight with Sandoval. Like, we know that it's kind of gonna end with a head scratcher weird
Right.
moment, and then this is the lead up to
Right.
that. This is the penultimate episode. Like, I think we're in for a very bad
I know.
ending.
We have to, honestly, I know I was just like making fun of Brock for bringing drama where he can, but like I feel like the only pure moment of this entire season was the Max and Katie thing.
What was that again?
That
Oh,
she
this
fucked
season.
Max.
Oh, that was awesome.
Like that
Oh,
was
yeah.
like the only thing where I was like,
That was the best episode. That was one of the best episodes where I forget what else happened in that episode. But yeah, when we
Yeah.
found out that, what else happened that episode?
Um,
Ariana was even stunned to find out that
Yeah.
Katie had made love to Max. I forget. That was a great
Yeah.
episode. That was like, that had the chaotic, messy energy of Vanderpump Rules, something
Yeah.
that Katie didn't even want on camera.
yeah.
But then-
Otherwise, it's just like a scramble of talking about Scandoval in a million different ways.
Yeah, how many ways can you disinvite Sandoval, or how many ways can you talk about who shouldn't be talking to Sandoval at a certain time? Like, it's getting so tiresome.
Yeah.
And that's probably why, that's why they want to get some time in there so that people don't feel this way anymore. It was too divided at this point.
Right. So we immediately, it opens at something about her. Anne is there. It crosses out her lower third as Tom's assistant to something about her employee, which I assume is no longer true.
They really thought, I think, that this was going to be the ramp up to starting. And this
Yeah.
was last August or whatever.
Because
you
I'm
know, so-
like, if she is a something about her employee, she hasn't been employed in a long time.
They said on Watch What Happens Live, they said, guess who emailed us? Anne. So she's...
It seemed pretty vague though. Like Ariana was like, didn't she like message us? And Katie's like, oh, I don't know. I didn't see that.
I think, at least we know that Anne, I'm sure she had to find work in between August and now. But I think...
Is she going to be a sandwich artist?
No, she's, I think she would be just like one of the 3 or 4 employees there.
Yeah.
You and me, Anne, Ariana, Katie.
I would like to make some sandwiches.
Would you?
Maybe.
I would do it, obviously, if they hired us, I would do it for 2 hours once a week on a Thursday.
$200 an hour.
200. Wait. This sounds good. Wait, I would do it. Here's my hours. Wednesday from 11 to 1. That way I avoid all traffic, but it's the lunch hour. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I avoid all traffic there and back. $100 an hour, right? So $200. Once a week.
Katie and Ariana, are you hearing this?
Yeah, this sounds pretty good.
Hit
It's
us
gonna
up.
be good it's gonna be nice when something about her is there. This is what people get to do. They get to go to Sir when they're on the crawl, when they're
Yeah.
on the Vanderpump crawl. You go to Sir. That's where you get your food. You fill up on food at Sir. You get one drink there. Then you go to Tom Tom. You get absolutely loaded on cocktails, fun cocktails. And then when you're drunk as a skunk, stumbling down Vanderpump Row back to your car, you go to something about her to feed yourself
Get a
again.
hoagie.
Get a hoagie. Actually, no. Sorry. This is the real.
I'm curious what their packaging will look like and stuff.
I think it'll look good, but it's not. They're not going to be able to use the Chef Penny trademark.
Right.
What?
So like Lisa visits them. She, meets Anne. There's pleasantries.
Right.
Anne's like, I'll be in the back. And Lisa is bros with Penny. So she's like, I heard you're not speaking with her.
Yeah. She goes like, I heard that the fridge is on rollers. She goes, I heard your toilets are being plunged. And then she goes, you know how I heard all of this? Chef Penny.
And they were like, well.
Yeah. And then Lisa's like, things don't seem very good.
And she's like, I was under the impression that she was going to be a partner with you guys. And they were like, no, that was never the plan.
She goes, this is not the 3 blind mice. She goes, she was going to come in as the COO and she'd get a salary and then 10% of the back end of this store.
Yeah.
And we think it's a pretty good deal. And Lisa goes, well, Chef Penny is in. She loves that deal. And Ariana goes, nope. She rejected that offer.
I wonder what the salary was.
$100,000.
You think?
Yeah. And Lisa goes, well, my God. She goes, I've never had problems with Chef Penny before. And then they show this one scene of Chef Penny going, Lisa, do you like the
food? It was at
Lisa-
Tom Tom.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chef Penny, they show a scene of it's supposed to illustrate that Lisa and Chef Penny get along really well. Chef Penny was like, how about the salmon? And Lisa was like, sure.
Yeah. Okay. But it's funny because Lisa is she's obviously kind of maybe on Penny's side, or is like you saying to them, you need her, trust me.
She goes, if Chef Penny is not here, I don't know what will happen to this restaurant. She's really, Chef Penny was the Lisa surrogate for their restaurant. I'm really surprised that Lisa is really holding back. I'm really surprised that Lisa didn't say, well, now that Chef Penny is out on her ass, do you need a new silent partner? Me, Lisa Vanderpump.
Yeah.
She's really, I feel like, resisting the urge to go into business with them.
Right. Well, I did like, you already said this, but that she would get a salary and a cut of the profits at that location, implying that they would love to franchise in the future or expand.
One in Pasadena.
Yeah. Maybe the South Bay.
South Bay. Where else? Santa Clarita.
That's on a topic this week.
So I think that Chef Penny, this is probably true. Chef Penny thought that this was going in. She was the Lisa Vanderpump of this establishment. That's why she wanted the Chef Penny sandwich on the menu. That's why she was hiring and firing people. She just got a little too big for her britches, pardon my French. And they said, no, this is a Katie and Ariana co-ownership. What the hell are you doing, Chef Penny?
Yeah.
And then now it's bad blood.
Right.
So I think that Chef Penny might have overstepped. And
I mean, they do need someone who has done this before.
us.
You've opened and run and operated a sandwich shop.
Yeah, I don't talk about it, but yeah, I would love to do it. In the West Hollywood permitting stuff, that's easy.
Okay, good. Okay, then we go back to Kyle Chan's storefront, which is just part of the thing these days. It's like Sir Villa Rosa, Kyle Chan's. Like, okay.
Kyle Chan's jewelry shop.
Right. Sheena's there, and they're talking about that she's going to perform in San Francisco. So then Tom Sandoval comes, and he offers to help because he knows all about sound.
Well, he doesn't offer. Kyle Chan says, you've just done 30 huge shows all across the country. I think it'd be perfect for you to help Sheena perform.
He's like, you owe me, bitch.
Yeah. And definitely Kyle Chan is doing his own producing here.
Yeah.
He's like, who are two people that hate each other right now and who need to have scenes together? This would be a great plot line for them to be doing this together.
Yeah. Tom, in his confessional, says that he'll do anything for Kyle because he's the only one that stood by his side, and he gets emotional talking about him. He starts crying. And then Kyle is like, sit down, you two. I need to talk to you because I was concerned about how things went down at that pool party when you were yelling at each other or whatever. And then we have another sort of emotional conversation with Sheena and Tom, which I feel like this is like the 7th one we've had.
Yeah, this is
another one later.
This is number 7, and I will say this is when the storyline arc is not making sense anymore, because Sheena having this blowout with Tom in that pool party, it was pretty bad. Like they were screaming at each other. She said fuck you and fuck off, and it was really bad. Ariana had to hold her and say, he's fucking trash, darling. Never talk to him again. For her to come back with whatever growth she said she had overnight to say that I want you back in my life is ridiculous.
Yeah.
A lot of people would have written off him for 2 weeks just from that. So I don't understand why this was now the bridge to do this same scene again with Tom Sandoval. This should have reset your anger completely. You should have been like, fuck this guy. He brought up the one trigger point from my past to justify Scandoval again, and now I'm going to have this emotional retread of a scene with him where I say, I miss you and I love you.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I know. She's like, I'll never forget what a good friend you've been for me. You've had my back since day one.
When we got slimed at the Nick Choice Awards, and you stepped in front of the slime and got bathed in green slime instead of me. It's like, Sheena, I love that story. I love it. But you've said it 20 times to justify you liking Tom Sandoval still.
Yeah.
I thought that last week's episode was the perfect indication for Sheena to write Tom Sandoval off.
Yeah.
Ariana was the one there waiting to comfort you after he fucked you over. And now you want to do this again where you're trying to pretend this friendship exists?
I know. I mean, she's playing a certain hand for sure. But
it's a problem of not letting your authentic feelings guide you. It's a problem with Lala. It's a problem with Sheena. Katie is very authentic to herself. Say what you will about her narratives or storylines. She will not go on a date with Joe for drama.
Yeah.
She's authentic to the relationships in her life. And I feel like Sheena and Lala get lost in the wind when they don't have motivation that actually is coming from themselves and they try to produce themselves.
right.
They're lost now, Sheena and Lala.
Yeah. Speaking of Lala, she is hanging out with Katie, right? And
Yeah.
it's just really quick, but it sets up her birthday party. She goes, I'm going to FaceTime Sandoval just to confirm that he doesn't think he's invited to this party.
Now, why is he not?
Right.
Like, Lala, I thought your storyline was you're softer and everyone needs to get along. And isn't it good that people are meeting him again and he didn't kill anybody? Like, she's like the Sandoval advocate in the group.
Right.
So what happened at the pool party because he got in a fight with Sheena? That immediately stopped his invite from happening? Like,
Right.
why did she just take for granted that the audience knows that he would not get invited to her birthday?
Right.
If anything, I would think that she would try to push him on everyone as part of her storyline.
Maybe that's why she had to call him just to confirm to everyone that it was going to be different this time.
But these are the things that I don't think Vanderpump Rules ever did before. Like, I never was just confused by the motivation of the cast members. Like, this just didn't make sense to me.
Right. Yeah. No, it was weird. And he's like, all good. Like, I expected that.
And I'm with Sheena, though, by the way. And Lala's
Right.
like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why are you with Sheena? Wait, Sheena just said she misses you and loves you? Didn't you guys just fight? Like, no one knows what the fuck anybody's doing on this
Right.
show. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Loyalties be damned. We go to Lala's birthday. Heather McDonald is there.
I know, I love that.
That was wild.
She's our friend.
Okay.
No, she really is.
Okay.
She's our friend.
She said hi at BravoCon.
Yeah, I know. That's really nice. Remember, she saw us and she gave a huge smile to us. I mean, not friend, but that's
You
really
should
nice.
go on her podcast.
I would love to. Turtle Time meets Heather McDonald.
She just grills you.
I would love
like,
it.
rips you apart.
I fucking hate your content, and Turtle Time sucks.
Who do you think you are, you pig?
Yeah, I'd be like, well, okay, Heather McDonald. I mean, that's one way to go.
Should we start going on other Bravo? Do other Bravo podcasts have other Bravo podcasters on?
Yeah, the answer to that is yes. We were invited to
Help us
Ryan
promote.
Bailey's. We were invited to Ryan Bailey's
What
one
happened
time.
there?
I think he just got lost in the wind.
Aw.
But that's okay. No, of course people have other Bravo people.
Maybe Nick Vile will have us on.
That would be so good. Well, I mean, no one will watch it, but that would be so cool if he did that.
He's a married man. Katie was at his wedding.
I know,
Which
and
is
Dana.
kind of weird.
Did you see the thing I sent you, the New York Times style section?
What was it?
It was Nick Viall. It was the announcement. You know, the New York Times,
Yeah.
like coveted couples
Yeah.
and relationships, they get covered in New York Times. They got a full
Write-up.
spread.
Wow.
It showed how he proposed to his wife.
Oh, right.
He said
It was kooky.
He said, "Honey, there's a screening of The Man Named Otto. You have to
that
get there.
airplane movie.
You have to get here ASAP. Bring a suit or dress really nice. There's a screening of Man Named Otto." And she goes, "Of course." She got right there, and then that's how he proposed to her. It was actually a sold out, everyone in
Fake.
line. It was a fake premiere.
Did he say that that's like their favorite movie or something?
She's a huge Tom Hanks head, and he said that he thinks that this movie is one of Tom Hanks's best.
Really?
Yeah, but he's only seen like 4 Tom Hanks movies.
Okay. My parents liked it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. My grandma actually really loved it.
There's a cat in it. I remember from the trailer.
It's based on that's awesome. It's anyway, yeah. So for sure we should go on other podcasts. That would be
All right.
amazing.
Give us a call.
This birthday party was kind of weird.
Yeah, it was boring.
It was boring, and I didn't really understand how, like, why they went to this crowded bathtub gin bar where they were all in a big circle with a bunch of people around them. It was kind of film sloppy, like shit. And I just don't think that that was the proper forum for Lala's birthday.
Yeah, same with the 1920s party, because it was just at a regular bar or restaurant, and they had just walked through and past normal people dressed to the nines. I was like, what is happening?
That was really weird. Imagine the people who were at a restaurant and they just see a camera crew walk through and the cast of Vanderpump Rules, but they're for some reason dressed like Great Gatsby characters. It didn't make any sense.
Yeah. We did get one juicy piece of information here, though, because there's a burlesque show and Brock averts his eyes and he reveals that he was raised Mormon until he was 14, and so shit like that makes him uncomfortable. And I'm like, how do they hold that detail from us this whole time?
He's a wealth of new, or what's that called? What's that called when you don't know someone?
We have to peel back that onion.
He's like an onion, and we're learning more and more. Yeah, that was interesting. But it was just kind of, there wasn't a lot of fun there. No. And then that's when Lala asks Sheena, she goes, what the hell were you doing with Sandoval on that FaceTime when I called you? Which is so ridiculous for her to call out Sheena for having a scene with Sandoval when she's been doing that.
Right.
Like she's had like 6 scenes with him this season. But she was like, that was a little weird. And then this is when Sheena says again, she's like, no, actually, come on.
He apologized.
We're doing good.
We said we missed each other.
And in that scene, I noticed it very much so. The scene where Sheena says, I just said that I miss you. And he said, I miss you too. It's fully ADR. You don't see her mouth move at all. They fully added it. And Sheena didn't even do a good job of trying to recreate how she sounded in the scene. It's fully off camera, her saying that.
Wow.
So and then Ariana's obviously just like, I fully feel for Ariana.
Yeah, it's like, why say that in front of her?
Enough.
Yeah.
Enough voicing your sadness or worry or whatever the hell your complicated feelings with Sandoval. Enough of voicing it around Ariana so that she has a reaction to it. And Ariana, the last thing she knew with Sheena was that Sandoval was screaming at her about how she fucked who? Eddie Cibrian? Is that who it was? Like from 20 years ago.
Right.
Like so Ariana's obviously confused with good reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like, I feel like I'm being gaslit by all these people. And I feel for her
it's
there.
It's weird. There's a quick Brock and Sheena packing, but it's boring. And we get our first date thing with Ariana and Dan.
Yes.
Did you notice that? So it's revealed is going to San Francisco for some reason, despite not going to the events for the most part.
But he's going to Kyle Chan's, I think.
Right. Yeah. And Ariana's like, just so you know, there's a chance that my ex might like come shake your hand or something at the airport. And he was like, I'm good on that. And she's like, what would you do? And he's like, I'd have to run for the bathroom. And she's like, yeah, you could say that you have to really have to take a shit.
I know.
And I'm like, is that like something that her and Sandoval like always joked about?
Yeah. Yes. We talked about this. Remember when Sandoval at the Belmont, when he goes, I had to take major, this is going to be gross, but he was like, I had to take a huge shit. And
he also said that at that like Labor Day party or whatever, when he was like, sorry, can't go home because your grandma died. I was locked in the bathroom taking a dump and missed my ride.
Yeah. He said, so I think it's just kind of, it might be code for, I need a break from filming for a second, because there's no reason why they would say take a shit so many times, I think, on camera. I liked Daniel's entrance to Vanderpump Rules. You could be skeptical of potentially like Daniel, I guess, if you had never met him before, but I actually think he came off really well in this scene, pretty much for the most part, the whole episode.
Yeah, he like kind of was low key and kept to himself, and she brings up that he should consider moving to LA, and I guess it's a good sign that he was like, I don't want to.
Yeah, he didn't go, I'll pack my bags and I'll be there in 1 week. He loves his life in New York. He's busy as hell. And I think, overall, it doesn't show in this scene, but overall, I feel like he had a pretty good reaction to all of the events around him, I thought. And he didn't seem, like he needed the spotlight. He didn't seem like he was in this for the wrong reasons for the most part. He seemed fun nice. I got a little sense of humor, you know, from him there.
Yeah.
So I think overall it was good. Good first impression for Daniel.
It was interesting that he, in San Francisco, skipped the boat to go get dinner with her friend Brad, who I'm like, why was he there?
Why was Brad in San Francisco? Because he wanted to go to Kyle Chan's whiskey party really bad.
Okay, so everyone just is trying to go to that.
I remember when it happened, it was one of the most coveted invites you could get. But apparently, I mean, they were pretty lax with who they were letting in because they did let that one guy who flew off the handle in.
Right.
But you can see Brad is in all of the promotional materials for the season. He's at the whiskey party.
Got
so I think he wanted to be there.
Got it.
Then we get a Tom Sandoval show at the El Rey, right?
Right. I forgot about that. It was, I guess it happened at such a, like, long enough after Scandoval that it was kind of like, who would go to that right now?
I know.
It was August.
Yeah, it was August. The scene wasn't great. Like Schwartz and James come to cheer on Tom Sandoval and the most extras. It was his mom, which
she loved seeing him up there.
Oh, that was so sweet. I mean, what mom wouldn't?
Yeah, she was stoked.
So they go in the back room or whatever, then they immediately have to get out of there. But it was nice that James showed up.
Yeah.
I think that is you know, they were blown away when James showed up.
Yeah.
They're like, I can't believe you're here.
He's not one to miss a scene.
James?
He's like, yeah, I'll show up for 10 minutes and get in this.
James isn't James is doing okay this season, but he's not, you know, he's a little few and far between, don't you think, for powerful scenes besides his bathtub
Right.
scene.
Yeah. Did you notice he's getting a lot of goodwill on the internet right now? Like, he DJ'd at Stagecoach and all the comments are like, you're living your dream, like #1 guy in the group. Like everyone's like loving it, which I'm like, that's fine. But it's just like funny to me, the blinders of the Vanderpump Rules community, who they decide is a demon and who is not. Right.
It's it's a little fickle at times.
They're like, he's a beautiful man.
Yeah.
He never stopped dreaming. This is wonderful.
I did see I saw the clip with Diplo and I was like, damn, that is fucking James's
No, I was happy
dream.
for him.
I was stoked. And the honky tonk, whatever that thing was, that looked awesome. Like his DJ dreams are coming true in front of our eyes. And I'm very proud. And I do think the scenes that he's had, like the hippie arc, I think it's sweet, but I just would have thought that there'd be more James focus, I think, this season overall. And I don't know if he's really, had a moment to shine.
Right. Yeah. Did you like that Tom performed Let's Touch in Public?
You know I loved it.
He said he hasn't performed it in 6 years.
It was awesome. He said it was his mom's request, Touch in Public, and the reason he did it, it's because you need a song to play that they have the rights to.
True.
So they did that, and then Joe is there, and I go, "Oh my god! Oh, you know what? Oh, when I'm thinking of highlights of season 11, Katie and Max doing that, and the Joe breakup scene with Schwartz, that was in the top 5. Yeah. So I was actually happy to see Joe. I was like, "Where the hell have you been?"
She's like points to the stage, and she's like, I love them. They're so good. She's like a hype man.
She knew all the lyrics to Touch in Public, and she was spinning around in circles. Yep. And then Schwartz goes, "Hey, Joe, can we go outside for a second?"
This was painful to watch. They're like, he's like, "Hey, Joseph," and they're both like,
beep bop bop. They're doing the robot improv thing that they do. Schwartz was like, after the conversation on the couch, I don't know how to talk to you anymore, right? He's kind of like, it's like now it's awkward between them.
Yeah, he's like, "How many dudes have you banged?" And she's like, "Oh, stop it!" And he's like, "Oh," and they're just like, they like are like not functioning human beings when they talk to each other. Yeah. He's like, after that conversation, I don't want to send mixed signals. And she's like, "Robot, we are just friends." And like, he's like, "Beep, boop, beep." And then he yells into the sky. Yeah. He's like, "This is my friend Joe. She's hot and we'll probably get married in 8 years." And she's like, "What?"
And then Schwartz starts doing Charlie Chaplin moves where he's in a glass container and he can't get out. You know what I'm talking about? And then she does the old timey umbrella where you get him off stage because he's taking too long.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? And then Joe starts slipping on a banana peel out front of the marquee.
Yeah. Why were they taking pure physical comedy?
Why are they taking Tom's name? I've never seen a name get wiped off the marquee as fast. It seemed like the show was still going on and they were already scraping the shit out of Tom Sandoval's name off that thing.
They do that a lot at the movies. I always like when I'll leave like the New Beverly or something, I'll be like, time to get a photo of the marquee, and it'll be gone. And I'll be like, God damn it.
Okay, so it's
They
not.
don't want to pay that guy after time.
Oh,
to
okay.
change the sign.
So it wasn't because they had to get Tom Sandoval's name off the marquee as quickly as possible.
But yeah, so then he like makes an offhanded remark about them getting married, and then she like makes a remark about it. He goes, "I said that." He said it 1 second ago.
He said, "This is Joe, my friend. She's hot, and we're gonna get married in 8 years." And then Joe goes, "You just said we're gonna get married in 8 years." And he goes, "I did." It's like, and she goes, "This is absolute whiplash
Yeah.
with Tom Schwartz. This is how he treats me all the time."
Yeah.
Saying that he's gonna get married to her in 8 years
I know.
again after they had that breakup conversation where he said he would never do
I
something
know,
like
it's
that
like
again.
you're not allowed to do that. And it's kind of crazy because we're on season 4 on Patreon, and we just watched the episode after he asked Katie to marry him, and the episode starts with them at a picnic, and he yells into the sky, "I asked her to marry me and she said yes." And I was like, whoa.
Whoa, you like to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then he says another thing, which it's just one of those things where it's like, this show doesn't make sense anymore. What is going on?
Right.
He's like, "You're going to San Fran, right?" It's like, why would Joe go to San Francisco?
I know.
She only knows Schwartz.
Yeah.
And Schwartz and her are not in a relationship anymore.
Right.
What is the purpose of Joe?
Yeah, Kyle Chan didn't seem to like her very much at that singles night.
No, and Sandoval doesn't like her. I mean,
No.
I like Joe more now than I did like before. I mean, she kind of regressed in this scene for sure. She went back to the improv like kookiness, but I just don't understand, why would you even invite her to San Francisco? What is the
I know.
point? Now Schwartz has to like divert his attention away from the main group to focus on Joe so that she has someone to talk to in
Right.
San Francisco.
They're treating it like a true like finale where all the characters have to be represented.
But if you're out of for 3 episodes, like I was fine with how Joe ended it. If she would have just ended her run with that like beautiful scene where they broke up and we never saw her again, like it would have been a good ending
Yeah.
to her run on the show.
Yeah.
It just seemed like they were, like you said, like just trying to pull everyone from this season for the end, even though
Yeah.
if it makes no sense.
Totally. So then we get an airport scene of everyone going to San Francisco. Lala takes her moment to talk shit about Dan.
Yeah.
She said that something seems off because it's weird how quickly they met, and that that he would think that she's his dream woman when she just went through a breakup and still lives with her ex.
Yeah, Lala really goes out on a limb there.
I know.
She's like, her hot takes are so bad.
But it's also just like not something you say publicly. Like I'm saying it publicly, but like I'm not Ariana's friend. I would say like, I can say it's weird that she met someone 10 days after her 10-year breakup and jumped in so quickly. And I think it's weird how often he posts about them going to dinner, and he only can benefit from this whole scenario. Like how quickly he was on the show, even though he came off well, and maybe it's totally fine. I'm just saying, I think it's not totally off base to be like, who is this guy?
I agree. Well, okay, for sure. if all of a sudden Brad said he's dating Joe and Joe was a cast member, you'd be like, what the hell is going on? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's like you possibly would be like, what the hell is like, what are you trying to get out of this experience? But she said Dan is odd for starting a relationship with Ariana 10 days after a
I feel
breakup.
like it's reverse.
Yeah, I don't think that that's odd at all. You meet someone at a wedding, you find out that they were just in a relationship, but you really like them, and you start
That's up to her to like decide
yes,
if it's
for
too
sure.
soon or whatever.
It's not odd of him, and I just think it's another one of Lala's just like, everyone's gonna totally love what I'm gonna say about this, and I don't know whether or not that's truly her feelings or
Right.
not. I thought it was a really weird hot take for her to make.
Right. Yeah, and Ariana said on the after show that she was like, even if it turns out that he's a total maniac, or I forget what she said, like sociopath or killer or something,
I'm gonna be
she's
fine.
like, I'll be okay. And I'm like, well,
Did she say killer?
she said
Even if he's a killer, I'll be fine.
it wasn't
Even if he
killer,
ca-
but it was like,
Yeah,
if
even
he's
no, I heard that too.
horrible.
Even if he's a horrible person.
Yeah.
I just think it's I think that Lala at some point, we've already talked about this, but this season is so convoluted and confusing that I can't even remember where she was 3 episodes ago.
Yeah.
But she's just in her confessionals at some point around this something about her second tasting. She made her in her confessionals known that she does not fuck with Ariana and Katie anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is her. She made that stance, and she now knows, go for broke. Say whatever the fuck you want in the confessionals, because me and Ariana, I don't give a shit about that relationship anymore, and I want to be the anti-Ariana.
Right.
Or, in what's that? Yeah, in opposition to
Right.
Ariana.
Yeah. She didn't say killer. She said con artist.
He could be a total talented Mr. Ripley con artist, and I'd be completely fine, she said.
Yeah.
Did you watch Ripley?
Yeah, I have like 2 episodes left.
Do you like it?
I do like it.
Not the most.
No, I liked it.
Oh, good. Okay.
It's like kind of unnecessary.
Right.
We've seen the movie. It's the same story. Obviously, it's longer and it's black and white. And
the scenes are more boring than they are in Talented Mr. Ripley.
sure, but it's cinematic.
It looks good.
You know, I love that Maine Coon. Have you watched all of it? There's a cat prominently featured in one of the episodes. Like, very prominently.
Oh, what? Sorry, what's... What'd you say?
Well, that's a kind of cat.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
He sees all that cat.
Very good. So, I'm sorry, there's a cat in it, you said?
Haven't you watched it?
No, I'm sorry. I only watched the first 2 episodes.
Oh, okay. You gave up.
My thoughts were I was like, Kenneth Lonergan's in this, but I was like, Kenneth Lonergan is acting really bad in this. I was like, I've seen Talented Mr. Ripley, but this is like a longer version of Talented Mr. Ripley, but all the scenes are less impactful and less good with worse actors. But you know what I mean? But it looks good, so I'll give it that.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it though. I have some questions, but
Oh, good.
I've
Okay,
enjoyed it. I'm going to see Manchester by the Sea in a few weeks at the Arrow.
Oh my God! I just saw that my friend posted that Margaret is
I
also
know
coming back.
the extended
to
cut.
theaters.
It sold out.
Oh my God! Well, I love both of those films.
Yeah,
Those might be 2 of my favorite films of all time.
they're calling it. It's the American Cinematheque Bleak Week. I'm also seeing Schenectady, New York,
Oh my God!
and Panic at Needle Park.
Holy shit! I've never seen Panic
Yeah.
at Needle Park.
Me
I've
neither.
seen Schenectady, or
Yeah.
however you pronounce that. And Manchester by the Sea, one of the best.
Yeah.
The Rewatchables, that podcast that I sent you one time, they are doing Rock Bottom Month, and
I
they
like
just did
that.
a Rewatchables of Manchester by the Sea. It's good.
I can't wait. Sorry to be Bleak Street Week. I've been wanting to watch it post experiencing a house fire myself.
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
think I'll feel better because his is so much more horrific.
For sure. I mean,
Can't argue.
But you can't argue that it's a little worse. But I mean, still, I mean, I don't know. It's not
Yeah, I might
apples
like
and
freak
oranges.
out.
Yeah. You're gonna go watch it? You said.
I am.
Okay. All right. Well, let me know how it goes after. We'll keep that Ripley stuff in, right?
Yeah, Netflix, come at us. It's
Okay.
fine.
Good. Okay. Wonderful.
20s party?
Okay.
Oh wait, no.
Are we?
No, sorry, I skipped ahead. I was like, can this be over? No.
It was bad though, right? Well, as we talk about it, it's bad.
Yeah.
They get to San Francisco. This is what's happening.
Yep.
She goes, there's this guy, Dan. I think he's evil. I hope Ariana survives this encounter with this person.
Yeah. We watch them each check into their rooms.
Did you like this hotel?
It looked intriguing.
Oh,
I
I
like
thought-
that they put stuffed animal on your bed.
Do you like San Francisco?
Yes. I haven't been in many years, but I used to go a lot.
I told you the one time I was there. I tried to go down Lombardy Street or whatever, and I got,
You got all twist turned around and fell into a bowl of chowder. Sourdough.
Yeah, I did all the hits. I went to Alcatraz. I got stuck in there. I tried to go down Lombardy Street. I fell in the water at the wharf. I had one of the worst times. I got caught in the Ghirardelli. I got caught in the
Machine?
Ghirardelli chocolate.
You drown in the chocolate river. I
And the
mean, they
worst San
didn't
Francisco
do
trip.
the best job at making this seem fun. That boat ride looked like it sucked.
Okay, so we can just skip forward because
Yeah.
this sucks. This all sucks. Wine therapy boat ride absolutely sucked. There was some choppy waters. They tried to make it
Cartagena.
They tried to make Cartagena part 2, but it was not that bad at all. No one did anything fun. James was trying for the life of him to do pole dancing routines to try to have fun, but everybody's like, "Stop it!
I'm like,
it's
no.
It's cold. It's rainy. There's choppy waters. Don't do this now."
Yeah.
So nobody Everybody has fun.
We literally spent like many minutes watching them buy hoodies.
Yeah, I mean, that in a typical Vanderpump Rules season, this scene would never have been shown because
Yeah.
nothing happened at it.
Yeah.
It was a horrible, boring boat ride.
It was also the one thing that happens right before they get on the boat is that Schwartz goes, I've thought about this whole roommate thing and I'm ready to commit. And he gets down on one knee and gives Sandoval this handcuff keychain, like as a proposal. And we're like, we know that this didn't happen,
and
it's not gonna happen,
and it's a lie even in the moment.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have plans. I've never seen Schwartz do this. He actively lied for a fake, confusing storyline that we would possibly think was true.
Right.
We knew this wasn't going to happen.
It felt so like, yeah, he did not mean what he was saying.
No, but they tried to tease it like it could possibly be the resolution of that storyline.
Right.
They tried to make it like this is it. Like
Right.
they're going to be roommates.
Yeah, Sandoval sort of upheld it in the after show and was like, we'll see what happens with the house, or maybe we could rent something. And Schwartz is like, not really.
Yeah, it's
like,
not
happening.
It's not happening. I mean, it wasn't even close to happening. After wine therapy, which was obviously very boring, bad boat ride, Brock, again, you can give Brock credit for trying to stir shit up.
Yeah.
You can't. I guess you can give him credit,
Yeah.
trying to make something happen, but he got shut down pretty hard when he tried to bring up Ariana moving past Sandoval again for the 100th time.
I know. I'm just like, why do you think you're in a position to be the one to talk about this?
Yeah, I mean, seriously,
Like
and
with her or in general?
at all. And,
Yeah.
and it's been talked about so many times. Ariana actually, I mean, she dealt with it fine.
Yeah.
But her retort to it was almost perfect. It like shut him down like nothing I've ever seen. He says, forgiveness is good for you, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, actually, all emotions that you feel when someone has trespassed against you are powerful and strong. I'm proud of myself for the feelings I have. And I'm in a gray rock zone,
Yeah.
which I had to look that up.
Yeah.
Did you look it up?
I've heard of that.
I'd never
Yeah.
heard of that before.
It's like you like bore a narcissist to death.
Yeah.
Until they move on.
And Tom Sandoval really, once I read that, I was like, yeah, he is trying to get a rise out of you a little bit. So she said, I'm gray rocking the shit out of this thing. And also she said something about the double standard between male rage and female rage. And then Brock goes, yeah, well, I can't really comment on the feelings of a female, so I'm going to just go now. And then he kind of walks off the pier and just falls in the water.
I know. And when he was like, what's an example of male rage? And they like had like a montage ready. I was like, what are you talking about?
Like, yeah, James montage.
What?
Yeah. That should be the last time that anyone asks Ariana to change her feelings about what
I
happened
did like
with
when
Scandoval.
she was like, he was like, you should just at least be cordial with him. And she was like, for whose benefit? For his? And he was like, for my wife.
From my wife's. It's like, why? and Ariana said, actually, I have Sheena's best interest
Yeah.
at heart, which I saw last week. Mm-hmm. It's true. Ariana was there to comfort Sheena when Tom Sandoval did something fucked up again. And I'm really coming to the opinion that Tom Sandoval just does not give a fuck about Sheena.
Yeah.
He just wants her as a pawn in his corner. He didn't care about her in the off seasons. He
Yeah.
might have given her $5,000 or whatever during COVID, but he doesn't actually love Sheena like that, I don't think. Ariana is her true friend, so she should know that Ariana has been there through this whole thing and fuck Tom Sandoval,
Yeah.
in
Well,
my opinion.
That's over.
What? No, I know, but I feel like Sheena made the wrong choice.
Right. Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting that like this season, like, people were so on Ariana's side at the start, and Tom Sandoval was reviled. And I feel like you and I were trying to bring nuance to it and think about Tom Sandoval more, and think about the gray area with Ariana and when she wasn't moving the story along or not
Yeah.
wanting to film scenes. And I feel like as the season has gone on, I've actually fully reverted to how everyone probably felt at the start, where I fucking hate Tom Sandoval. I think he's so annoying,
Yeah.
petulant, lame,
Yeah.
shitty person. And Ariana's actually powerful, making strong emotional decisions for
Yeah.
herself, shutting everybody the fuck down. I'm like, I'm proud.
Yeah.
It's like it took me a while to get to the place where I think everybody just started from.
Right. Yeah. We had to try.
We had to try. Tom Sandoval made it fucking easy for us to realize what a piece of shit. He handled this the worst you could have ever handled it.
Yeah.
You could have, I could have whispered to him for 30 seconds in his ear at Tom before he started filming, and I feel like he would have had a better season than what he had.
Yeah.
It's absolutely awful, horrific. Like an F for how he handled himself post-Scandal.
Totally. So now it's like everyone getting ready for the 20s party. Schwartz orders oysters alone to his room, pours champagne in the oyster, and takes a shot of the oyster. And I was like, that's like, it's one thing to do that like romantically or like at like a dinner table or whatever, but he's just like by himself eating that alone. I was like, that is decadence.
He was he was really treating himself.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
I was proud of him. Why? Like this was we got to talk about the Roaring Twenties thing. 'Cause it's starting to rear its roaring head. Brock, I don't think Brock knew that Roaring Twenties / Peaky Blinders / Great Gatsby is the most tried and true trope of all Bravo franchises in the world. I feel like he
thought he did something there.
I feel like he had a light bulb go off in his head, and he goes, "What if the cast of Vanderpump Rules did a 1920s Roaring Twenties party?"
Yeah.
And Sheena goes, "Okay." It's like, did you see on Watch What Happens Live? Andy said, he goes, "Speaking of things that must stop forever, Roaring Twenties parties must stop."
He said that last night?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
He said, "And just like the Roaring Twenties, here's some other things that must stop completely forever."
I can't believe they even let that pass. Like, they should have been like, no, do something else. Do like swinging 60s or something, you know?
If Andy Cohen said, "For the love of God, stop these Roaring 20s parties," you have to stop them.
Yeah. I will say at least the fashion of Vanderpump is so different from the fashion of the Housewives. At least like the take that most people did. Like the girls did menswear, and like normally it's like the Party City fringe dress with the headband. Like it's always the most like boring shit imaginable. And I was like, at least they took a slightly different turn this time.
But why? Okay, I'll give them that. I love James's outfit.
It also wasn't a party. It was like, let's get drinks, dressed up. There was no music. There was no like scenery.
Why did Ariana and Katie and Lala and everyone agree to dress up to a restaurant, to a non-event as Great Gatsby figures?
You
for
know
no
that
reason.
Sandoval spent like $5,000 on his outfit. Like he was probably like, if you give him an assignment like that, he's going to spend every penny he has.
Yeah, I know, but yes, I'm glad that they went all out. I liked how they were dressed, but you can't have people dressed like a theme if no one else around them is going to be partaking and it's in a normal environment.
Yeah.
It's like if we said, let's dress up like a bunch of Frankensteins and go to Barney's Beanery.
That sounds fun.
No, it sounds awesome. And we can definitely do that.
I have a costume. Oh, fuck. I don't think I have it anymore, unfortunately. But
Frankenstein?
it's a Frankenschwein.
What's the last part of that?
It's a pig nose, but a Frankenstein head.
Oh, you said Frankenswine?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's, oh my God.
It's a little bit of a mashup.
Oh my God. Sort of like how the parts of Frankenstein are basically mashups of dead body parts, right?
Yeah.
So that's good. But do you agree with my philosophy that they shouldn't, you can't just dress up and go to a random restaurant because it kind of takes
I think
you
they
out of
were
it.
like, we're not giving you budget. Most housewives would just spend like 10 grand of their own money to rent out. Like on Beverly Hills, they did like the Culver Hotel,
of
which is like
course.
100 years old, and they did it there. Brock was like, all right, we're going to a restaurant. You'll pay the tab. That's it.
Yeah.
Like he was like, I ain't spending a penny.
I think for sure and that sounds like Brock. Well, but I think that Brock said this thinking it was original.
Yeah.
And exactly what you said, no producers like Jeremy said, wait, let's not do this because it organically stemmed from Brock's brain. And they just let them do this shitty event.
Yeah.
Did you see that Brock looks exactly like a Clockwork Orange character? Did you see his
it's
outfit?
Scary.
Skin tight,
Yeah.
white outfit, a cane, a
The
bowler
bowler hat,
cap.
yeah.
He looked exactly like
I
Clockwork
know, I
Orange.
was like, wrong situation, wrong costume. And then James was like a little paper boy. At least they made fun of him for that.
I loved how James was dressed. And Lala, you get a funny point this episode. Lala's very funny. She said, "You look like a newsboy outside of the Titanic." I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what James looks like.
Yeah. And then everyone calls out that Sandoval and Ariana's shoes are potentially the same, but his are Doc Martens, and she made it very clear hers are Steve Madden.
Yeah.
So.
But everybody is just trying to figure out ways to where they can ignite some Sandoval and Ariana commentary. Like James is trying, you know what I mean? Like everyone just wants to see what they can make of these situations. What's the most like fruitful thing?
Yeah. What did you think about Dan's quick appearance in a towel with his long locks down?
I liked it.
Why did he want to be almost nude on camera?
I thought, I didn't even think about it. I thought this is right. I thought this is good. I thought Dan is coming out strong. I liked that when Lala came in, she goes, "Daniel, with your," she said, "with your sexy body and long hair." That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I think that for some reason, I think Dan is very comfortable on camera, and he was ready to what did you think? You tell me.
I was shocked by how long his hair was. I didn't think all that was going on under that little bun.
You know what? I'll just say it. I also thought his hair was longer than I thought.
It's like the longest hair I've ever seen.
It was, I mean, yeah, it was cool. And then did we talk about when Lala came into their room? And
No.
she goes, "Dan," she goes, "what are you going to do when Scandoval comes around?" When Sandoval comes around, he goes, "I don't know. I don't care." And she goes, "Oh, really? You don't care? Well, are you sure nothing's going to happen between you guys?" And he goes, "I don't care. Shut up."
He's like, "I'm unbothered." And she goes, "Well, you have a good body. Good for you. Goodbye."
All right. Well, I'm going to go now. Lala was like trying to scrounge up a scene, and Dan wasn't giving her anything, which I kind of liked. I was fine with that. Okay, so then we're back to the Clockwork Orange nightmare. Katie and Ariana go to have a little bridge scout where they look at the various San Francisco bridges, and that's when Schwartz comes up doing sort of a like Fred Astaire. Who's 1920s? Like, who's the 1920s people?
Like actors?
Yeah, like Douglas Fairbanks.
Clark Gable.
Charles Laughlin, Robert Mitchum. Like he kind of has that sort of 20 spirit. And he goes, "Can I borrow my ex-wife for a second?" And Ariana goes, "Yeah, I'll leave you to it." And that's when Schwartz makes an indecent proposal to his ex-wife.
An offer she can almost not refuse.
He says, "How about we don't make love? How about we just get a hotel or go in one of our rooms, put on Netflix, maybe the hit series Ripley, if that's going to come out. He's got screeners early. Order $150 worth of food and just scroll on our phones in silence."
Yeah. It's like the movie It's Complicated, but without banging.
Oh, right. When do they do that in that? I love that film.
That's the plot.
Oh, because of course, because Meryl Streep and Alec Baldwin
At their son's graduation in New York City.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot the plot of it. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. Meryl Streep and Alec Baldwin rekindle a former romance with each other to the detriment of Steve Martin.
Yeah. Well, they fuck before she's formally with Steve Martin, but the affair continues, and then she starts to date Steve Martin, and then it becomes messy. But they fuck before their first date.
Do you remember the scene where she's FaceTiming Steve Martin and Alec Baldwin is naked and he bends over on camera and Steve Martin has to see Alec Baldwin's ass?
Oh!
It's Complicated is a really good movie.
It's perfect.
We're recommending a lot of good movies.
Also, the Steve Martin documentary on Apple is great.
Oh, I have not
2
watched
parts.
that. It's good.
It's good.
Okay. All right.
He's a great man.
Steve Martin is really good, and it's complicated because he's not like being silly over the top. He's actually just like a fun, nice guy. I love it.
Yeah. He was a great choice. She fucked up.
No. They get together at the end.
I know, but she had to break his heart first. Come on.
Yeah, well, you have to. When you've got Alec Baldwin waiting for you and he wants to have sex with you so bad, you have to have sex with him.
When one of the times when they hook up, he looks down at her bush and he goes, "You've gone native." And I like it.
It's a great movie. That's Nancy Myers?
Yeah.
No, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Nancy Myers killed it on It's Complicated. It's so
Slade.
good. Completely
Slade
Slade.
boots.
Oh my God, it's so good. Okay, I'm very proud of that. And Katie rightfully says, no, absolutely not. That's even more intimate than us making love. And Schwartz goes, well, a guy's got to try. And
Yeah.
he tap dances off.
But again, she's like, at the beginning of the conversation, he goes, you like me again. And she's like, shut up. But like, she's like smiling. Like on Watch What Happens Live, they played that game where it's like her and Ariana had to answer questions at the exact same time to see if they like agree or disagree or whatever.
Yeah.
And one of the things was like, is it okay to fuck your ex or whatever? And Katie was like, like she was like, depends, like, and Ariana's like, I mean, not for me, like, fuck my,
Right.
like, I would never hook up with my ex, obviously. But you could tell that Katie's like, never say never.
Good. Yeah. No, good. No, I loved, you're right. I didn't mean to skip over that moment. When Schwartz goes, you like me, you know, you still really like me. She says, don't mess it up this time. But it does look like it's really, he's back in her favor, which is sweet.
Yeah. And like, yeah, when he's like, think about it and walks away, she like laughs. Like she's like,
Yeah.
LOL.
Good
you know?
chemistry still there. I
Yeah.
really like it. It's a much better place than they were in season 10.
Totally.
Then we have to get another, I'd say, silly scene. It's Tom and Sheena. They go, come on. Tom says, Sheena, we got to talk about your microphones tomorrow. Please. I've got a
He's
wireless.
like, it's a really good mic.
He goes, come on. I got one of the best wireless mics you'll ever need in your life.
Maybe
And
we can hire him
Who?
to help us with our audio.
Sandoval?
Yeah.
Sure. Sandoval. I don't think any Turtle Cuties would be mad if Tom Sandoval was just sitting in the background adjusting our mics
Maybe we
during
can
Turtle
use their studio at his house.
time. Is the studio they haven't had a podcast I don't think in a month.
Oh, really?
But so if they're not using the studio,
Yeah, then we can use it. But he said on the after show the reason why it would be great for him and Schwartz to live together is because they do so much business together, including the podcast.
do you think there would be a conflict of interest if you and I started recording there, but we still had the same hot takes and unbiased opinions? But
He would definitely pull the plug if we started talking shit.
Really? Oh man. We should have a contract where it says we get to use your studio, but you have to let us say whatever the hell we want.
Yeah. Maybe he'll start like a Let's Touch in Public Productions.
Let's Touch in Public
And we can join
Productions.
the network.
Turtle Time joins Let's Touch in Public, Tom Sandoval's new podcast empire. We're the
Press
only
release.
podcast. And we talk shit about him regularly.
Be interesting.
Do you think he should have a network?
If he'll pay us. I need health insurance.
Me too. All right. Okay. How about here's the what's it called when you have an exemption or here's the caveat or here's the one rule that we get to have. 20 minutes of negative commentary about Tom Sandoval an episode. It can't go more than that,
Okay.
and we don't have to fill our meter.
Okay.
But we are allowed 20 minutes, and Tom Sandoval can't say shit.
Okay.
But he's not going to be in the room.
He might need to help us with our audio. But yeah, so this conversation, he's saying
he's something about he goes Dan's here, by the way.
he said he's comforted by Ariana having a boyfriend because he was worried about her navigating these scary Scandoval waters alone. Sheena's like, you should apologize for weaponizing her mental health. And they roll the clip that I like forgot about. And honestly, I feel like it should be like bleeped or something. It's like shocking.
I had the exact same reaction. When she was setting it up, saying you weaponize her mental health, I was like, he said that on Howie Mandel. Did that actually make it into the cut?
Yeah.
And it's like him saying it. Like,
Yeah.
in on the Scandoval episode of season
Yeah.
10, I was like, God damn! No wonder she fucking wants to.
Yeah.
Is so pissed at you.
So trigger warning. But like what he says is like, she goes, you should have broken up with her. It's like the teary couch Sheena conversation. She's like sobbing. He's sobbing. She's like, you should have done right by her and broken up with her, before any of this happened. And he goes, I tried. She threatened to fucking kill herself.
Yep. Trigger warning to all the people that
And I'm like,
upsets.
holy fucking shit.
I can't believe that is a part of the canon of Vanderpump Rules officially in the edit of season 10.
It's like shocking.
It was very shocking, and
I feel like that's how like heightened
Yes.
everything was back then. That like it was shocking then, but like everything was at a 10. So we
Yes.
were just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. But watching it like out of that context, you're like, no.
I felt the exact same way, and I can't believe that it took Sheena even like it took 14 episodes to get to where Sheena even brought it up that Tom Sandoval might have to apologize for that.
Right.
But also what I don't like about this, okay, so obviously Sandoval, that was a awful thing to do.
Yeah.
Absolutely, unequivocally. That
Low
was
blow of like trying to dig himself out of a hole, like that he had no options.
Yes. And so like he tries to even add some buts and justify it. She goes, "No. Just settle yourself. You did wrong. You did something wrong." But I don't like that Sheena opened the door to make Tom Sandoval feel free to have a conversation with Ariana on camera.
Yeah.
She gave her permission and blessing, saying Ariana would like to hear from you potentially. She would like an apology from you. And we know that is not going to end well, because that's the, what's it called? That's the limb that Sandoval's going to go out on to justify talking to her at Kyle Chan's beautiful whiskey party.
They show the footage and he goes after her and it's like, she's like, no way.
Well, let's edit the scene with that and have it go really quickly, speed it up, and have that music. No, but yeah, what I don't like is that Sheena put Ariana, like, gave him her official producer brain blessing to have this one-on-one with Ariana, when I know absolutely Ariana does not want to have that conversation on camera.
No, I did like, though, that she talked for a while and listed the examples of like, Ariana didn't do anything wrong. She just wanted to make your relationship work. She didn't freeze her eggs just for herself. She didn't go to couples therapy just for herself. She didn't buy a house just for herself. It was all to build a life with you, and you don't need to say anything.
Yep.
Don't say anything. And he goes,
he's like, I want to say something so bad right now. And he's full, like, and she goes, no, stop, nothing. No excuses. And he's like,
all right.
And then they say, I love you, Sheena. And she goes, I love you, Tom.
And they hug for like 2 minutes and he's like sobbing into her fur.
And and it's over. And thus ends one of the worst episodes of Vanderpump Rules in many seasons, I thought. Very bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything.
I like the alternate version of the 1920s when James says history repeats, so we're all going to be in a speakeasy 2020s vibe pretty soon. He said, I'm going to be the piano player at a speakeasy. Sandoval's going to be the bartender. Brock's going to be the doorman, and we're going to have a...
I don't want to know what has to happen for us to be living that way.
He said it's going to be a Mad Max apocalyptic nightmare, and there's going to be secret speakeasies that James is going to be a piano player in. I like that he was honest about what his role would be in a speakeasy. I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
But then I don't know if there was anything else in the after show.
No, I just wanted to point out, so like when Ariana is talking about Dan, well, first Lala, I thought it was interesting. I don't know how relevant it necessarily was, but she brought up season 6 where Ariana revealed that she had an abusive relationship before Tom that made her feel bad about herself.
Course.
And so Lala was like, I just hope that, like, you know, that old relationship didn't like blur into what she was willing to accept from Sandoval.
Right.
And then now like what Sandoval did is going to blur into like her next relationship or whatever. And I was like, I mean, don't pretend like you like actually care. But I mean, it is interesting. Like, it's interesting that she has like a bad background of like relationships.
Yeah. I hopefully Dan will subvert the narrative. I have hope. I don't think he's as evil as
I mean, talk about love languages. He's certainly an acts of service guy.
Damn.
She said he came every other week for Dancing with the Stars, helped her with the pets and the house. She said in the hotel this week, or it's San Francisco, that while she was gone, he put her Celsius on ice and ironed her clothes.
Yeah. That was really nice. And Lala was stunned by that.
Yeah. But I'm like, that's obviously she, you know, whatever, Sandoval's a pig, but that's what he always said he did for her too, like stuff like that.
Well, he's an acts of service guy too.
Right. So that must be her thing.
What's Ariana's love language? Oh, she She's a recipient
she's a recipient.
of service.
Yes.
But what does she dole out?
What does she do last?
Tom's
It's
is-
not compliments. We know that.
Tom's is words of affirmation.
And she didn't give that ever.
Not enough, I guess. Not enough for him.
Maybe quality time.
Is it? It's not bad to question or to think about what people's love languages are, is it?
No. But a lot of times they're mismatched. And so you have to go out of your way to know what other people want. Like for me, like I don't really care if people give me gifts, but I have like certain friends that like always give gifts. So I'm like, that must mean that they think gifts are important. You know what I mean?
That's their love language,
Yeah.
and they show you what their love language is
Yeah.
by doing it.
But also some people that like giving gifts don't like receiving them. So it's kind of confusing.
I love them all. Words of affirmation is probably my biggest
Hit
one.
me up with all of them.
But
Let's
gifts,
spend time, shower me with gifts and compliments.
I don't need quality time.
You
That's,
don't.
Well, no. I mean, I think well, not to. I'm not trying to be too personal, but like I don't. Well, yeah, no, okay. I think that's a given in my relationship
Okay.
currently. Not to get too personal, but that's just inherent.
Okay.
We have so much quality time, but
Yeah.
I'm a words of affirmation.
Okay.
That's why I love when the little turtle cuties and the Villa Rosa VIPs say we
Leave
had
us
another great
reviews.
episode. And when we
5-star.
Yeah. So I actually I thought this after show was just as bad as the
Yeah.
actual episode. There was nothing fun in it, so I'm ready to move on to the
Flop.
valley if you want.
Yeah.
Flop zone.
Yeah.
Could we take a little break to decompress and I'll possibly piss and then we'll.
Yes.
And I think the valley and Summer House, just for the Little Turtle Cuties and Villa Rosa VIPs, I think they both only warrant like the 3 main highlights.
Yeah.
I actually neither sparked that much joy for
Yeah.
me, to be honest.
We can just do top line.
Yeah. So good. I'm going to take a certified turtle piss break. I'm going to think about my life and stuff for about 1 minute, and then we're going to come right back. We're back.
Hey.
Time to talk about The Valley. Did you like this episode of The Valley?
Did I like this episode? I mean, I guess I don't know. It's like this show is hard because at times it's like very juicy and fun, and at other times it's just sad.
Yeah. What was sad about this one? Nia?
Nia was sad. I feel very bad for her.
Me too. I've never, I was thinking this, I've never seen someone so sad on a Bravo show.
Yeah.
I'm sure there has been, but Nia's like so sad that it's like, oh my God, like I feel so bad for her.
I
Like,
know.
like when she cried at the table on that couple's
I
date,
know.
or whatever, she just didn't even want to talk about the
I
Kristen
know.
shit.
I did kind of love it though because it was like it put it in perspective. Like
Oh.
she made everyone feel like total shit because she was like, "You're upsetting me with your negativity," and they had to be like, "Okay, it's fine."
And it just like ended their conversation. Like I've never seen a scene go that way where someone just said, "Please, for the love of God, don't bring that up." I
She
don't
couldn't
even
talk
want to
about it for 1 second.
And I liked it. It did get Michelle. Like all of a sudden, Michelle was just like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like let's just talk about what you're going through. I'm so sorry." That was kind of like
Yeah.
a fun subversion of a
Yeah.
typical scene. I
And
like
I'm
that.
glad she went on to explain because we got some comments explaining to me the difference between baby blues and postpartum depression. And I'm glad that like she is now saying like, okay, like it seems that I've surpassed the baby blues era, because I thought she was just like calling postpartum depression baby blues, but apparently they're different. So
Yeah, and I think the sister-in-law says, baby blues are connected with weeks or months after, but if it
Yeah.
starts to prolong past that, it's something that you need to like think about in a bigger way.
yeah. Yeah, I just feel really bad for her. She's like trying to keep it together, and she's so like sweet and nice and
She
like
is really
trying
sweet.
not to make it drama, but she's obviously struggling. So I think that's like cool that they're covering that, but it's kind of jarring being like you'll be watching just total bullshit, like silly
Yeah.
shenanigans, and then all of a sudden it's that and you're like, oh my God.
But it is giving the experiment of what the valley is, like
Yeah.
touching upon new ground at this stage of life.
Right.
And this is something that, people deal with. I loved, since we're talking about that scene, I did love the juxtaposition of Jesse and Michelle and Danny and Nia on that
Yeah.
date when Danny and Nia
They're like,
cheers
every
their-
time we cheers, we kiss.
and then Jesse goes, Michelle is like, don't kiss me right now. It was like, it's like a couple doing at their absolute worst and a couple at their absolute best.
Yeah, it's dark shit. So yeah, it picks up where the last one left off. And it's Jesse explaining, he's like, if anybody's going to be divorcing anybody, she's going to divorce me. And I think it's Janet that goes, we can all agree with that.
Yes, he says that. Yes, he definitely says that. And then he also says a thing which I thought was pretty jarring and a wild ultimatum to make. He says, I think we should all agree.
Right.
Can we all agree that it's either me and Michelle or Kristen for all group events from now on?
I know. I feel like you don't usually see that on camera. That's usually like a off camera,
Yeah.
what do you call that? Like
Like
allyship.
Yes. Totally. Like he just said it outright. We're not going to film scenes with Kristen anymore. It's her or us.
Yeah, and Janet is like, she's not going to be invited in my stuff.
And I just, well, first of all, the audacity of Jesse and Michelle to make this ultimatum. It's 6 episodes in. The show was created around Kristen, Jackson, Brittany. You're lucky to be on it.
Yeah.
And then you're immediately, within a month of filming, you're saying who you're going to ice out from filming and make and tell everyone that they have to side with you in this scenario.
Yeah, like because she narked your poorly kept secrets when you signed up to be on a Bravo show
that everyone knows about and
Yeah.
that everybody's talking about, and that Jesse told a full pool party at Jax's house this detail.
Yeah, I love when the producer asks Michelle. She's like, he's like, so does Kristen have like, do you have secrets to protect? And she like darts her eyes around. She's like, no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even. The problem with this for me now is that I don't even know what they're talking about when they're talking about Kristen.
Yeah.
I have no idea what they're using as evidence against Kristen. Why the hell is Janet saying she's never going to invite Kristen to anything in her life again? Wasn't she Kristen's friend at the start of this?
Well, I guess the racism thing is still
Something that
her
Janet
thing.
said?
Right.
I mean, I don't like Kristen is really getting the blame. They're really doing the
For
crazy
keeping
Kristen.
the show alive.
Yeah, but they're giving her the crazy Kristen villain edit, and I haven't really seen one thing that Kristen has done wrong to warrant how they're all treating her. Jax was like, Luke, Kristen's ruining everyone's lives, and you need to get her in check right now.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking about this and I'm like, by reality TV rules, she's done nothing wrong and she's done what she's supposed to do. But if we were in real life and someone just kept telling everyone something that you said and causing you shit, you'd be like, what's her fucking problem?
That's actually, I think that's the opposite of how I feel. They purposefully did not want Janet's horrible accusations against Michelle on the show. They talked about it off the show, and they dared anyone to say those accusations on camera. Kristen is being what a real friend and real person would actually do, which is call out their friend that said that shit.
Yeah.
And tell the entire group.
Yeah.
So it's more real that Kristen said the real story that was being told behind everyone's backs.
Right.
I just think that it's wild that Janet just got out from all of this.
Right.
And now she's pitting this all against Kristen.
Yeah. I liked that when this is a little bit later, but when Janet is like asking Jax for the details of what he knows or whatever, he's like, I'm losing my touch. It was an easy assignment. All I had to do was tell Jasmine to go figure out what was said, come back and tell me, and I'll drop the bomb. And I was like, I love that he thinks in these terms.
I loved that too.
Like an assignment.
It was a fourth wall break into Jax's process and how he's been handling Vanderpump Rules the entire time. It was almost genius.
Yeah.
I was trying to understand what he meant.
Yeah.
He gave Jasmine the football to run with it, hoping that she'll uncover the secret so then she could tell him what she ultimately found and then he'll reveal it to everyone.
He's like the laundromat that you wash your money through.
Yeah.
Like you tell him and wait for it to be told.
Yeah. What's that called again? Yeah, you said, yeah.
Money laundering.
Yeah, money laundering. Yeah, he's a money launderer for the gossip of
Like
the Bravo
you just
universe.
whisper into his ear and you know that it'll come out on the other side and
Yeah.
you won't have to deal with it.
But there's a lot of stupid like telephone stuff
Yeah.
that I don't really like. It's like Jesse's like, wait, no, she's gonna divorce me.
Right.
And Michelle's like, yeah, I'm gonna divorce him. Kristen, you got it wrong.
Yeah.
So you're really shitty. It's like y'all are just talking about the way gossip spreads in your group and then
Right.
ultimately blaming Kristen. I just think it's like you guys all need to do something.
Yeah.
Like make things happen. Action. Not
Yeah.
just words. And I thought it was a little bit like they're all spinning their wheels a little bit
Yeah.
with this telephone game that's going around.
Yeah. I did like one of the details about Jesse and Michelle's bad marriage was that he said that he was like, she used to get mad at me when I would put my phone face down on the table. Then she started putting her phone face down on the table. She used to never go out without doing a margarita cheers boomerang. And then she stopped posting. I was like, that's such a like old grand millennial core like thing. He like the boomerang stopped.
Yeah. He's like, well, she went to El Compadre, but where's the boomerang of her cheersing her margarita at the camera?
She's up to no good.
And he goes, she said she's taking a break from social media. Well, there was no break from social media. Let me tell you that much. Their marriage is, obvious.
Corpse.
What'd you say?
A corpse.
It's a corpse that they're still poking at it, but they're aligned. They're both aligned. They both get joy and derive pleasure, and their relationship gets a spark when they have Kristen as their antagonist.
True.
Jesse says.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Jason is extremely turned off by Janet's love of gossip.
Yeah, he
Throws
goes.
her under.
He says, I thought when Janet lost her full-time job, I didn't think she'd become the town crier.
He's like, can I leave?
He said, I don't know if I like filming a reality show.
He speaks very little.
Yeah.
I just have to shout out, Kristen makes a visit to Dr. Jason Rothbart.
That's him?
She got in the elevator and I was like, I know where she is.
That's Rothbart?
Rothbart.
That's who you go to?
Yeah.
Is that him who
That's
did the
him.
follicle? Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
He was on Vanderpump Rules once very briefly for Stassi.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. Were you excited to see him?
Nice man.
That's so great. Are you going to say I saw you on? Do you ever say that? Do you
I
say,
should. I mean, I'm not due for a while, but when I go in, I'll be like, saw you on the Valley.
That's so cool. So Kristen has 5 follicles, which is very good, right?
Good news.
And so that part was nice, but I didn't like, just to keep it on Kristen for a second, I didn't like that this gaslighting and all of these opinions about Kristen being crazy and ruining all their lives, that it finally got so loud that even Luke had to take part in it.
Yeah.
And Luke, when he got to that scene with Kristen where he's trying to like tell her how she got the telephone game wrong, he barely could justify like why he was mad or that she wasn't listening or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like even you kind of turned on Kristen because just the noise against Kristen is so loud that you felt like you had to do your part in it too.
I was a little bit like, it's like I knew what he was saying a little bit, but I was also like, since when do you care about any of those other people?
Yeah, and he's like, you're not listening. And Kristen was listening. She
Yeah.
was like, conversation's over. I get what you said. All I said was the 2 true things. Everybody is like treating me like shit. All I do is apologize. And he's like, you're not listening. And he goes, this is the worst our relationship has ever been. I was like, Jesus Christ.
I know. He was like, if we're going to move forward, then you need to stop all this.
She goes, if?
Also, Jason, his contribution was like, I feel like Luke and Kristen are like Bonnie and Clyde, and I feel like Clyde should be like Bonnie. Let's not rob banks. Let's be nice to everybody.
Yeah, I loved that analogy. I go, that was good. So there's a lot of anti-Kristen sentiment. I don't know how she's going to get out of this one. If Jax is screaming, he was screaming at Luke. He goes, she's a liar.
Oh yeah,
She's
a known liar.
She's a known liar. You gotta talk to her. She's ruining everyone's lives. I was like, Jax, what the hell? Jax, you spread the same rumor around.
I know. He brought up that Jax has been accused of being a pathological liar. They roll the Andy clip. And then also when he goes, he's like, it's not cool anymore to be a piece of shit, terrible person. I have a child. I have a home. I have a business. And they rolled the clip from Vanderpump from like a month ago where he said the exact same spiel.
He has the same I'm grown speech, almost word for word, that he says twice in 2 different months.
He's a repeater.
Yeah. Do you want to move on? I mean, I don't know how Kristen's going to get out of this. She has to. It has to change. I really don't like Janet's sort of throwing a stone and hiding her hand mentality this entire season. She's really making Kristen eat shit for absolutely nothing, for stuff that she prompted.
Yeah.
And I don't like that she's such a fickle friend that she's like, I am never having Kristen anywhere near me for the rest of my life. It's like, what happened? Why are you doing all this?
She knows too much.
Who does?
Kristen.
Kristen knows too much. Janet doesn't.
They have to throw her under the bus.
Now, do you want to talk about the Jax and Brittany shit?
Yes. So at first we see them at home. Jax is in a bitch ass mood.
He's going, shut up. Shut up. He goes,
Cruz is doing his little class, and they're like, we're paying that woman a lot of money. You need to get out of here.
he goes, I'm so angry right now. I was like, God, living with Jax must be so annoying.
He's like, there's too many distractions.
Shush. And then he goes, where's my glasses? Brittany,
And
where's my
meanwhile,
glasses?
Brittany's like, my eyes red. I think in all the craziness, my eyeball got scratched.
He
And
goes,
I was
shut
like,
up.
when?
Yeah, when did it? When? Yeah, what
Like, do you
craziness
think it was
she
in the Jesse scramble? His little talon, his demon talon
Wait.
scratched her eyelid.
Wait, yeah, it absolutely was. Jesse went full force tackling everyone in that hallway. Absolutely, she caught
If
a
I
stray
got a
hand there.
cornea scratch from a man raging through a hallway, I'd be so
Wait,
pissed.
here's one question that I think everyone in the world potentially has after watching that episode. How did Jesse get no blowback for putting Zach in a chokehold and slamming him against the wall and possibly
A
tackling
potential
Brittany?
hate crime.
Yeah, like seriously, like why did he not get an assault charge filed against him?
Seriously. Like, yeah. And now he's like, Kristen's nuts.
Can
And
we,
everyone's like, get her out of here.
Can we not film with Kristen anymore? Sorry about your eye, Brittany. Did I scratch it when I was trying to get to Luke to punch him in the face? That
Oh
was
my God.
that was
Yeah,
wild.
like Jesus. And so she has to wear these like giant glasses the whole episode.
And Jack's going, shut up, shut up. Cruz is learning, shut up. And then he goes, by the way, shut up. he goes, shut up. There's a tantric sex place that I'm going to take you to.
Oh
So
my
let's-
God,
let's
this
drive-
weird woman's house.
So Brittany goes, I thought we were going to do yoga, or I thought maybe a massage or like a couple thing that was like, different. And then the lady goes, no, I'm sorry. This is tantric sex therapy.
I love it's like, that's not your guys' problem is that you don't know how to fuck. It's that you hate each other. Like maybe start with like regular therapy and then deal with
Yeah.
weird sex stuff.
So Brittany was like, I thought she was going to make us like fuck on her bed, but they're not. And
Also, this woman threw them under the bus. She goes, approximately how many times a week are you having sex? I'm like, how many people are having sex multiple times a week and need to see you?
well, if other Bravo celebrities were in there,
They'd be
they'd
like
going,
20
well,
times a day.
We'll be, they would say, well, we fucked on the way, to your tantric sex thing.
When we
And then
woke up this morning,
we had tantric sex before breakfast, and then we finished our tantric sex the night before. So anyway, they're having tantric sex therapy. She goes, you know what? You both, that's not good that you haven't had sex twice this year.
yeah, she said been over a month. And then in her confessional, she said twice in the past year, like it's bad. She goes, and why do you think marriages end? And Jax goes, people are lazy.
And Brittany goes, yeah, people are lazy. Some people are, she says.
They don't want to do the work.
And then the tantric sex therapist says, I want you now to gaze into each other's eyes and really see each other's souls right now. And then I thought this was kind of sweet. It was like a little bit of a montage of their life.
Yeah.
And then
wedding.
the music was actually cool. I can't recall it now in my mind, but I wrote a note that the music was beautiful. I'd never heard that type of Bravo music before. And it goes through Jack saying, I love Brittany. She's my soulmate. We've had some rough times, some fun times, 10 years. I can't imagine my life without her. And then Brittany, while she's going through her soul searching, she goes, I've come to the point in my life where I know that Jax doesn't appreciate me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. He doesn't put her on a pedestal.
He's not.
He doesn't make the effort. Although I thought when he was talking about his stuff, it was nice what he was saying, but it kind of lacked heart. And when he said that she's my soulmate, I think he added like kinda or I guess.
I think, I read that as he doesn't use terms like soulmate.
Right.
So that when he said it, he had to put a little caveat there because he doesn't use words like that. But I do
Right.
think he would agree that she's her soulmate.
Yeah.
She's his soulmate.
Yeah. So, they do this. It doesn't seem like they seem just kind of uncomfortable, but at the end, it doesn't seem like it did much for them.
Brittany also questions that he is sexually attracted to her after
Yeah.
Cruz. She
Yeah.
goes, it's very possible, even though he's not cheating, that he just doesn't want to have sex with me. And she's allowing for that possibility.
Right. That was sad.
But then, if we're going straight into the Jax and Brittany scenes,
Yeah.
Jax said, you know what? At least, this was good of him. Like, she said a note where it's like, I want to feel the butterflies again. Can you please make time for me? He actually did it. He called up the
He
Mondrian.
waited until after her mom left town, who was their free sitter that is the main person that takes care of their kid besides them, and did it right after she left.
So Janet and Jason got to watch Cruz for a full night.
Yeah, that was shenanigans.
That was wild. But yeah, they get to the Mondrian. Jack said, it's nice that the Mondrian lets every Bravo show, or Vanderpump Rules and the Valley specifically, film there every single day.
It looked shitty.
Oh, the rooms?
Yeah.
Megan said that too.
It looked like shit.
I've
The
never
food looked like shit.
Really?
Yes.
Those sushi rolls?
I was like, I'm gonna barf.
Did you see what it was? It's sushi in big baguettes cut in half. Did you see that food?
It was like the first course was like a lobster roll. And then it was like weird sushi
you're
that
right.
they were using a, whatever that's called, the flamethrower on.
Yeah, they did the flamethrower. And
But I was like, I mean, I know that the show has a relationship with that hotel, but I was like, that's the penthouse. Looks like ass.
I've been to the Mondrian before, but I've never been in any of the rooms. So that was kind of, shocked me to my core what they looked like. I thought I liked this scene. This was a real, in my opinion, this was a real conversation, big, heavy conversation between Jax and Brittany.
Yeah.
I felt, to me, Jax was voicing very reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't say Jax and reasonable very often.
Yeah.
But I felt like he had a measured, reasonable case
Yeah.
for why him and Brittany should not try for another child
Yeah.
in a month.
At the beginning of this conversation, I was like, I mean, he's allowed to say that, like, he has concerns about moving forward with that. Like, he has to be able to say that.
Yeah. Brittany was just like, well, you said we would have a kid. So absolutely we're going to have one. It's like, wait, no. I think that two people in a relationship should get to decide if they both feel comfortable having a child.
Right. It seems like their communication was flopping because then he was like, which I also thought was valid. He goes, our current son has some stuff going on right now and he needs more attention. I'm afraid that another kid will take away from that. And she's immediately offended that he's accusing her of like not being able to handle it or that she won't do what Cruz needs or whatever. And I'm like, he didn't say that.
No.
Not to defend Jax, but like...
No, you can. You're allowed to because it's true. It's just there. It's in black and white. We saw it. He goes, Brittany, that's not what I said.
Yeah.
Now you're deflecting. You're putting words in my mouth. That is not at all what I said. I said that with the bar opening, I now have a lot of work on my plate. And also Cruz needs a lot of attention. So right now, it might not be the best time to have kids. And Brittany keeps just throwing it back in his face that we made a plan. We have to do it now. And you got to tell me immediately if this is not the plan. Like she's going to leave him. If this isn't going to happen for her.
Yeah. And then, but then it like devolves and she's like, I feel like I can't even have an emotion. And that's when he goes, no, you can't, which was like kind of like scary. And then he says like, you can't get emotional about things like this. And then the way that it sort of flops on his end is that he acts like he's the only breadwinner when like she keeps having examples of like a lot of what they've done has been together.
Right.
And like, he's like, he also misspeaks and says, my job considers me to leave the house.
My job considers me to leave the house. And then
Requires,
he goes,
I assume is what he meant.
and he goes, yours considers you to stay at home. And Brittany goes, the bar? I thought that was both of our things.
Yeah. And he goes, are you going to help out with the bar when you're 6 months pregnant? And I was like, why not?
Yeah.
Is she not allowed to step foot in a bar?
And she goes, if you put the bar in front of the kids, I don't know what to say. But I'm like, the bar is already in front of the kids. It actually is. It exists. You both did a joint venture. He does have to go there 3 times a week to keep the bar afloat and sustain it for Bravo fans. Like, it already exists.
Yeah.
So you have to take this into account.
Right.
And he's like, I'm a planner. I like to plan things. And then Brittany, I think, did a little bit of a low blow. She goes, you don't do anything.
I believe her.
Well, I think, okay. Well, that's not what I thought you were going to say. But I actually do think that up until this moment, Jax didn't do a lot. Up until the bar and the show, I do think Jax was resting on his laurels potentially for a long time.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what she's taking into account. But now that Jax is very busy, and also, I mean, no offense to Brittany, but he did create a masterpiece of a show built off his back.
I mean, it is a little chicken or the egg because it's like obviously she joined him on a show that existed, so like that foundation was already laid, but he keeps going, like he's like, do you see the house we live in? Do you think that just magically happened? And she's like, we put the same amount down.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can parse the history of like she wouldn't have been able to afford that house if he wasn't already on the show or whatever. But it's like cash wise, they brought the same amount to the table, and she already said that for many parts of their relationship, she was making more. So it's like,
yep.
He doesn't really have a leg to stand on there.
Okay. Yeah, once it devolved into that, I was not fully on Jax's side, but I was really on his side up until the point where it's like, Brittany, can we please like think
Well, it's
about
also
this?
like, thank God he did
Yeah.
throw a wrench in that plan, because
course.
otherwise they would just have a kid right now. It's kind of like Carl and Lindsay, where it's like,
Yes.
you can be pissed at him all you want, but like you guys shouldn't have gotten married. So luckily he's the one that was willing to do it.
Right. But then Brittany uses this as one of the 4 things I think that she like thinks is indicative of their bad relationship. When in reality, I think that Jax had a huge point here.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if their marriage is in like a horrible place, why would you add a kid?
No, I agreed with Jax, but you're right. It got a little tricky at the end when they tried to say who owns the house more and all that shit.
Yeah.
Jax kind of lost the fight, and then he leaves the hotel room, and I was like, Jax, where are you going?
Flop
it's the
of a night.
What?
What a flop of a
Yeah,
night.
yeah. It's like you put Brittany in a bad mood. Maybe you shouldn't have talked about that on date night. He wanted a powerful scene, which he got. But then he walks out of the... What the... Sorry, there's a little puppy dog that's... He kind of... I didn't understand... Yeah, I think that he got what he wanted out of the scene, but it wasn't good or conducive to their relationship.
Right. Yeah, you feel just like the like hopelessness of just, I don't know what's going to bring them back together. And he was joking on the after show of Vanderpump that he was like, the way my life's going, I might need to move in with the Toms, which
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's true. Well, it's... I mean, do you still stand by that you hope Brittany and Jax never go back as a unit together?
I mean, I think she'll be better off. It's dark over there.
I think Jax needs to be visited by the ghosts of Christmas past in the form of Lisa, Chef Penny, Peter.
That old roommate from Miami.
The
that he
old
made
Jason, was his name Jason?
Maybe.
Jason, and they go Jax.
John.
John.
And John and Jason.
John and Jason. And they go, Jax, you have to realize that you started to not appreciate Brittany anymore, and she's the best thing that ever happened to you. And
Yeah.
please win her back with all your might.
It looks like next week he gives her more shit for drinking.
He does. I didn't see that.
Yeah, she's like, I don't know why I feel so sick. And he's like, drinking.
Wow, he's really pissed at her tequila swilling.
I know, but at the same time, like we said, we're like, she might be a little out of control at times.
I just think that Brittany, we already said this, ranch water / seltzers with a little bit of splash of tequila. Just, if you love tequila,
Yeah.
you can't, I'm a huge tequila fan, but if that's your only drink,
Yeah.
it makes you sick. It makes
Totally.
you actually sick.
Did you see who was the one that invited them to the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
No, who?
It was the Daily Mail.
The Daily Mail gets carte blanche to invite whoever they
You
want.
like buy a table and you can like give away your seats. It's like the Met Gala.
So that's why Jax and Brittany got there. Did you love the clips where C-SPAN or Extra or whoever was trying to bust their political knowledge by saying, Jax,
Jax,
what
do you
channel
watch
is
C-SPAN?
Jax? Tell us, what channel is C-SPAN on? And Jax goes, I have no fucking clue what
He's
channel.
like, not only do I not watch C-SPAN, I don't watch the news at all. For what?
He goes,
At
I got
an
enough.
event for journalists.
He goes, I'm grown. He goes, I got a house, I got a bar. What am I going to watch politics for? And then he goes, and then the guy goes, what about those Rangers? And he goes, I love hockey. Thank you.
He's
And then,
like, that's what I like. And then they asked Brittany what she thought about Harvey Weinstein being released or whatever, exonerated. And she was like, I don't have a lot to say about that. I feel sorry for all parties involved. She was like, can I go?
she said, please don't point that microphone at my mouth at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Why? It was such a troll for them to ask her about the Harvey Weinstein conviction being overturned at the White House Correspondents'. I just don't know what to say. It's like Just say it sucks.
I would have been like, is Ronan Farrow here? I need to go talk to him about that because I read his book about it.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, she was so worried about saying the wrong thing that she almost dipped into the territory where she didn't want to offend the Weinstein Company or whatever.
They didn't even ask, like, Jax, they didn't ask him anything even, like, borderline controversial. They said, like, do you watch C-SPAN? And he goes, I'm not gonna comment on anything political.
Yeah, he goes. He goes. It's an amazing night. Everybody's dressed to the hilt. I love it here. But it was really funny. I guess they got the sound bites that they wanted for those purposefully provocative questions.
Sure. I mean, they have to expect. I wonder if Colin Jost roasted them at all.
We have to see that. Do you think he did?
I mean, that would be an easy, fun thing to be like, Jax from Vanderpump Rules is here. Such and such.
Do you think President Biden commented on them at all?
That would be fun.
I heard Jax and Brittany are going through some troubles.
We know Michelle Obama watches, I think, Potomac.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
She does.
Wow.
I think she like keeps it low key because she's ashamed. But
she's ashamed.
Someone revealed, I think Gail King revealed that Michelle Obama watches certain franchises.
There are so many secret Bravo watchers that will never let it be known, but we found out that Tom Cruise is one.
I still need more info on that, but I do like this Rihanna era is fun where people just keep asking her about it.
I know, but yeah, I do like it, but it's also like she watches all Bravo shows.
Yeah, like
so
we get it. Like it's a fact.
It's not a thrill when they go, "Are you watching The Valley?" She's like, "Yes. I watch all Bravo shows."
She was like, "Are you watching me in my room?" She was like, "I'm under attack."
But I just assume Bravo is on in Rihanna's home, and she's watching a lot of it.
We've known. She's been in the comments for years, but it's fun.
Do you think she listens to Turtle Time?
She should.
Rihanna, what's a Rihanna song?
Come on, rude boy, when you give it up.
Whatever fake TikTok or Instagram account you have, Rihanna, comment "rude boy" under one of the Turtle Time clips, and people will have no idea it's you when you say it.
Please.
Okay, cool. Let's. I feel like you and I have done so well.
Do a quick
tonight.
Summer House.
Yeah, and here's the scenes that I thought bore fruit for me. Gabby and Danielle. Amanda and Sierra and Paige at Old Navy. And then Carl and Lou.
Oh my God, I loved that.
Okay.
I also just want to quickly say that I've saw multiple Dumois posts saying that West is extremely single.
Wait. I wasn't listening for a second. Dumois has had multiple posts saying West is in his single era.
Yeah, they're like, trust me.
You know what? I don't believe Dumois.
Okay.
I never have.
Okay.
Until it's on page 6 or TMZ, consider me, what's that called? Not.
Well, the reunion will be soon enough.
I think I still have hope in my favorite new Bravo couple. Well, first is Jackson Brittany. Second is West and Sierra. I have hope that they still love each other because West's dad, I think he spoiled something.
Yeah.
He said, I had a great time showing Sierra our home in September.
Yeah. It looks like they're trying to spoil our fun next week and get mad at West for admitting that he still talks to other girls.
I was mad at him actually.
For that?
Yeah.
Why?
He's in a very close to a relationship with Sierra.
When he said that he was like, called her his alien girlfriend, she said, "Why did you call me your girlfriend?"
No, that in a cute way. Saying, she's already called him her. You are so skeptical of West and Sierra. They call each other boyfriend and girlfriend in this era.
No, they don't.
They do. West, oh my God. Now you're going to make me have to rack my brain.
Roll the tape.
No, Sierra has accidentally slipped and called West her boyfriend. West has slipped and called her his girlfriend. They've said it multiple times. I think if you're kissing and doing all that kind of stuff and you actively want to pursue her
Summer House rules are different.
I'm a prudish man.
Is
with
that different
Victorian
than
morals?
Danielle and Alex in the Winter House?
No. Alex had every right to continue to try to make love with whoever he wanted.
Why?
Because Danielle and him did not start a relationship. He said, I want to go to Bangtown. Danielle said, I'm fully with you. Let's drive there right now together. And then she wanted more out of it. And Alex said, I thought we were just going to casual Bangtown together.
Okay.
And then she started going nuts on everyone.
Threatening violence.
And I think that she over assumed what she said was a casual relationship, and Alex was just treating it properly, which is like, I want to make love to as many people as I can possibly get in here.
Okay.
So that was different. West and Sierra, like, they are, I would say, on the road to being boyfriend and girlfriend. I would say they're like a 6 or 7 out of 10.
Okay, but he can't like text other girls until they have a formal conversation about being exclusive?
I think that they should yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. I would be bummed out if I was Sierra or West and it was the reverse. I'd be bummed out if I was having the best time of my life in the summer, kissing, doing cannonballs in the pool, like just having a summer romance, but not, none of the like terms are applied yet. And then you just found out that the person you've been talking to is talking to other people.
I guess, but it's like, I feel like if they had a conversation where she was like, I want to date you, he would drop everything. He'd be like, great, that's what I want, but I'm not going to like pause everything. And if you're kind of giving me a little bit of a cold shoulder.
So you need irons in the fire? Like, hey, if this Sierra thing doesn't work out, I'm going to make love to someone really quick.
I mean, I don't have the energy for that, but like some people do. They like date around.
Well, yeah, I guess
He's like 28.
I think I thought they're too far along in my mind, which this is the difference.
We'll see how it's laid out next week, because it seems like the girls are pissed.
Sierra and West, let us know. Are you still dating?
Please tell us.
Okay, Gabby and Danielle, I'm like, I was possibly going to have caution when I talked about this, but I know I'm abandoning all caution. Gabby's overreaction to what Danielle said was shocking to me.
Okay.
I still, let's talk about it, because you and I are not aligned on Danielle anymore.
Yeah.
But how I saw it is that Danielle and Gabby, leading up to this moment where they were talking at the alien party, out of this world party, they had already established that they talk about wing woman-esque stuff in the car when they show that flashback.
Yeah.
They established that they have that kind of rapport, that Danielle's going to help Gabby out in her possibly finding someone, and Gabby is going to do the same for Danielle. So I feel like Danielle was doing an extension of that conversation, but she was a little harsher than you would be because she was drunk as a skunk.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I didn't think what she said was that bad. It was whatever.
She was like, you weren't really flirting with Balloon Guy Joe. If you really liked him, there was no flirting effort there.
Yeah.
And do you like anyone else? And she was just, I think she was giving, like, trying to give Gabby advice on, if you do want to, flirt or whatever, like, here's what I would do. And Gabby, it triggered something in her, some possible, like, maybe this is a concern of hers or something, that it triggered such a deeper thing that it sent her on, like, a 10 out of 10 upset.
Mental break.
Yeah. I mean, like, where she said that she only has like 2 of these a year or whatever, but they all acknowledged that this was an overreaction. Even Gabby did.
That, I think both things can be true, that it was a total overreaction. It kind of came out of nowhere, but also that Danielle should be like, holy shit. Like, I hope that, like, I didn't do something to upset you. She could take 1 minute to like go in and be like, are you okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I don't think you're just like totally exonerated from checking in on someone just because you didn't think what you said was offensive. Like, even you'd have to eat shit a little just to be like, I'm sure even Gabby would have been like, I know, like, it's crazy. Like, I don't even know what's going on with me right now. Like, whatever. Like, I don't think she would have like continued to hold it against her.
Okay. I don't feel comfortable being a full down and dirty stinker and defend every action of Danielle's, because you're right. If I was in Danielle's shoes, I would have said, Gabby, I'm so sorry. I can't believe, you took it that way. I never meant to say that. Danielle was drunk. She wanted to make love to Balloon Guy Joe. And so she had no time for it. And she thought that it was a 10 out of 10 blown out of proportion situation. Sure. And she had no, what's that called? She didn't want any, she didn't want to honor those feelings at all in any way.
Because she struggles as a founder and CEO to connect with people. She was kind of saying the opposite. She was saying, as a founder and CEO, part of what she is responsible to do is to understand people's different personalities and how they differ. And I thought that was one of the nuttiest things she said yet.
All right. Well, if I'm the lone Danielle defender, then I don't think I can do it, because I can't justify her saying you've got Craig's balls on the wall last episode. And I'm never going to advocate for someone who just completely discounts someone's feelings. I just personally felt like it was a 10 out of 10 Gabby blown out of proportion reaction, that I felt a little bit like Danielle just wants to have fun and doesn't want to deal with this. But Paige and Amanda and everyone is justified for thinking that was a pretty cold reaction. The world is fine to make that assumption. I thought I could maybe advocate for Danielle, but why?
Yeah.
You know?
No, it was weird. I feel like she's like going through something. I don't know.
Danielle?
Yeah. She's like girl boss pilled. She like, I mean, like when she like wants to get laid, it's like nothing can stand in her way. Like she was basically like, eat shit, Gabby. I need to go get dick, and like ripped off all of her clothes, and they showed her in the buck.
Is there
I was shocked.
Is there some world where that's cool? Really?
I mean, whatever, get laid. I don't care, but like I feel like she goes a little mad.
I was trying. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this one was more nuanced to me, where I was like, I kind of get where Danielle's coming from. I wasn't on Danielle's side with the Paige stuff, but I'm just sort of like, I think that the antagonism towards Danielle is starting to get out of hand, especially Paige's reaction to Danielle.
Yeah.
Where she's using everything that Danielle has ever done in her life to justify why Paige herself hates her so much right now.
Yeah.
And kind of creating a war against her within the house.
Yeah.
Saying that she doesn't give a shit about Amanda, and she's always looked down upon Amanda.
Yeah, that was kind of a planted seed.
Oh yeah. Like she's like going to war with Danielle in the confessional, and not really on camera yet.
And you can tell that Amanda like is so pissed that she has to be in the after show with Danielle, because she basically questions everything she says.
It is the most unfortunate pairing on the after show that I've seen, because they couldn't put Danielle with anyone else. Gabby obviously had to be with Lindsay, because Lindsay needs someone to say what she said exactly right after her, after she says it in complete 100% unison.
Yeah.
And then Danielle, you know, I guess they didn't want to put her there, because then Amanda should have been with Sierra and Paige.
Totally.
And then
I mean, they get to be in the most comfort zone ever, like just like commentating from the side, being like bitchy together. And then Amanda has to like question everything Danielle says. And you can tell it's like painful.
I think they want to keep the Danielle relationship to Gabby mysterious, and the relationship of Danielle to Lindsay mysterious, so that's why she has to be with Amanda. But you're right, it's not a good pairing. It's not what they want.
No, it's kind of brutal. But yeah, Gabby said on the after show that she has an annual or biannual mental break because she doesn't cry any other times, and she said that that's been happening since she was 13. That apparently, like, I mean, it was sad, but I was like, this is like a big therapy issue. Like, you need to talk about this with somebody. She said that like when her grandma died, that everyone else in the family was freaking out, and she felt like she had to be the strong one. And then she had like a full meltdown at the wake. And I was like, and you like have this pattern that you just do that all the time since for the past 20 years. And that's what you did at the summer house in the shower stall. I was like, that's like nuts. Like, no, sorry, not nuts, but like that's like not good.
No, of course, I understand. I understood what you mean. Wild. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know how to think about what happened. I just know that I think it was obviously this wasn't the proper reaction to what Danielle did. I'm sorry that Gabby's going through that. I wish that Gabby would, if she had a legitimate grudge against Danielle and wanted to carry this through to the reunion and make this like a storyline for herself, she shouldn't have forgiven Danielle the minute after and said, I forgive you, I love you, let's never fight again, and hug. It's like, don't try to make more of this. Yeah. If you didn't feel about that the next morning and you know you were overreacting. Yeah. And when Paige and Amanda make you think like you should, blow this out of proportion, you kind of try to grab onto it for a storyline. I don't really like that. Yeah. And I just don't like that the house is trying to make Danielle enemy number one. It's like, we already dealt with that last season. You and
Right.
I defended Danielle
Yeah.
through that whole shit.
For sure. Did you like that Carl did her a solid and closed those double doors when she was about to get laid?
That was really nice. Did you think it was this was the episode where it showed them like
Gratuitous.
it was like, well, we don't even have to get into it, but it was like you saw every aspect of what they did.
Balloon Man Joe was under the sheets. He was thrusting under the sheets. You saw her bare ass and she crawled into bed. I was like, whoa. I was like, that's crazy. Also, just my other quick call outs. West sleeps, he totes around his box fan like Kathy Hilton. I love that.
Oh, wow. I
He
didn't
brought
notice
his
that.
box fan to Sierra's room.
Yeah, that's cool.
Kyle and Amanda were being cute. He asked if they could snuggle. She said yes. And he said, my penis is excited.
I liked that too. Amanda's partying. This is two nights in a row where she's giving Kyle what he wants to
Yeah.
the party spirit.
And he returned the favor by letting them leave early on Sunday, not going to Montauk.
Yep. He goes, if Amanda goes there, she's going to be out of commission until Wednesday.
Yes. This is a quick like moment that I think is worth talking about is
Sure.
Kyle and Carl talking about the career stuff because Carl drops some numbers.
Oh, I loved it. I know the numbers. He said, I don't know what Lindsay's talking about because we both have the same job. We're
Yeah.
both influencers.
Yeah.
She does a lot more different stuff than me and has a lot more followers than me, but she
Yeah.
made 150,000 this year and I made 70,000.
Yeah.
So in my mind, it's not that different what we're doing.
Right. I saw some comments online. You know, I check in on my annoying groups that piss me off.
Are they?
And some of them were like, so like blame her for being a woman. She made double what you made. And I was like,
Blame? What? Wait. Are you telling me seriously that after week 2 or week 3 of this show, when everyone in the world was rallying for Carl and absolutely hating Lindsay and calling her one of the worst people that's ever
the
existed,
waters
that
have been muddied again.
No!
Totally. They're buying the deadbeat thing. They're buying
Deadbeat?
like
That he only made half of what she made as an influencer.
well,
doing
I'm
the
like,
exact
okay,
same
so
job?
he made 70 grand as of July. What month is it?
They're both making the exact same amount on the show that
Right.
they're the stars of.
So that's
Some
like
people-
hundreds of thousands.
Some people only would be the stars of a hit reality show for 8 seasons, and we would say that's their job. I love that they do that.
But Lindsay said on the after show that in New York City, minimum, she
I
said
heard it.
minimum, each person needs to be making $1 million.
She gave the speech from Wall Street. What's that guy's name? Gordon
Gekko.
Gekko. She looked upon the city and she goes, every one of them out there has to make $2 million to live.
I was like, are you insane? Like, you think everyone in New York City makes $1 million, you psychopath? Like, not everyone needs $13,000 rent or like, what are you talking about?
Do you know that the tides turned, not to like, I'm not moving ahead, but the tides turned even on Lou. I saw some
I know.
I saw some fuck Lou
They
comments.
said he ruined your relationship.
I was like, this stepdad who saw his stepson crying
Day after day.
day after day,
Running home to the Jersey Shore being like,
Fight.
I'm under attack.
fight after fight, all the horror stories he's heard from his stepson. He said, I don't think quite possibly that maybe you should postpone this
No,
wedding.
everyone's saying that Carl's a master manipulator for orchestrating that scene.
If you can turn on Carl again and start to defend Lindsay after what she did, you can believe anything in the world. Anything
I'm
in the world.
worried about you.
It's where is the like, why are we forgetting the cocaine Carl era?
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah. See, so this is the thing. Like I said before, I think it's valid to say, you know, you seem lost in your career. Like, that is something that I know you want to figure out. And like, I would love for you to have that figured out before we start a family, because I want to know like where we stand, like what I'm able to do, if I need to like stop working because of having a baby, whatever. Like, that's fine. Like, you're allowed to talk about that stuff. You're allowed to be like, I want to know like how we're situated or
I
whatever.
guess. I don't know. I think it's indicative of something.
Well, she
deeper.
takes it to a dark place, but like on a normal level, that is a conversation you would have. You would say like, I want to know how much money we have in the next 5 years, so we know like what we need to do and whatever. Like having a baby in New York City is expensive, whatever. But she then is like, she's like, and I'm going to be, the baby's going to be on my nipple, and like, I'm going to be a stay-at-home mom or whatever. And she literally admits in the after show that that was a manipulation and that she never had any intention of being a stay-at-home mom. She said on Watch What Happens Live, I could never be a stay-at-home mom. I have too much energy. I would never want to do that. And it's like, then why the fuck did you say that? And she was like, because I knew it was the only way to get him to like get a fire under his ass. And I was like, so you lied to him?
So you created a false reality that he was supposed to believe so that he would do something that you want him to do, and then you're going to use it against him if he doesn't do it?
It's crazy. And then she also said on Watch What Happens, he was like, Andy said, like, do you miss Carl as a friend? Like, because previously in the episode, to build her case, she said, we were friends for 8 years. He was the love of my life. Like, I was going to spend the rest of my life with him. And then she goes, I had moments at the beginning that I missed him, but my therapist told me that he's not who I thought he was. So no, I don't miss him. And I'm like, you don't miss the person that a few months ago you were going to agree to spend the rest of your life with. You just don't miss him at all.
Yeah. I think we settled on that Lindsay didn't really like Carl very much.
He was checking a box.
Yeah. She didn't like him. She didn't want to spend time with him. She got mad at a lot of stuff he did. She didn't think he was a striver, and it didn't turn her on when he didn't strive. And there was just a lot about Carl that she didn't enjoy at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he did her a favor.
I know, but she like still won't say that. Like Gabby on one hand, when on everything they do together, will be like, I have choice words for Carl for doing this to her, whatever. But then she'll also say, this is a couple that never should have been together. This is a couple that never should have gotten married. And Lindsay just like sits there. Yeah. It's like she can't agree because then it will mean he did the right thing.
It deflates her narrative.
Yeah.
If she admits that this was not a good relationship. And everyone is saying around her that it was a horrible relationship.
Yeah.
You can't hold on to that. Did you see when Katie and Ariana were asked on Watch What Happens Live if they're team Carl or team Lindsay? And they said team Lindsay. I gasped.
In unison.
I said, wait.
Of course
no
they
thought?
said that.
I said, no, not even a second of thought.
She's gotten to all of them.
I for some reason, I know that that's the answer that you have to give. But I was kind of like, I appreciate and respect Ariana and Katie's opinion a lot, but a team Lindsay with no even hesitation, I was kind of befuddled by that.
It's a joke.
I mean, did they watch Summer House the earlier season?
We know that Ariana fucking didn't. So.
Well, that's for sure. Do you want to talk about the Old Navy scene? I thought it was jarring for me to.
It felt like old times, of old Bravo times, of that deep spawn.
It reminded me of when Luann and Sonia and Dorinda watched The Croods, and they go. Do you remember when they go? They were watching The Croods. And they were
like, this reminds me of my friends who are crudes.
Yeah, it was giving the crude scene where they were like, can you believe how crude those crudes were? They reminded me of Ramona, you. And then
they did that with, I think the Richards sisters for like Frozen 2. They were like, I love the sisterly bond that's represented in Frozen 2.
Yeah. I'll say this. Don't do that anymore, Bravo, ever again.
They did, what was the Katie integration? Katie had it wasn't Chili's.
Oh, Fall Out Boy.
Oh, Fall Guy.
Yeah. That wasn't, she didn't go to the theater in Vanderpump Rules and say, I just came out of a good movie.
Right.
I don't like.
Integration.
I don't like
full
brand.
integration.
No.
Yeah.
I don't like that, but I did like what they did with this scene. After
they
said,
used it for real.
They said, can you believe the prices at Old Navy? Old Navy really
have great summer basics.
They go, if you want a great outfit, shop at Old Navy. And then Sarah goes, Amanda, do you think you have an identity outside of Kyle and Loverboy? Because I don't.
They made her almost cry. But since they're her closest friends, they're allowed to say shit like that. And it's more seen as like, a supportive outlook.
Yes. It was. And I don't mean to put that that line out of context was used in the trailer a lot of times, and it was used as a dramatic moment, like is Sierra turning on Amanda?
Yeah.
But in context, it makes total sense. She said a harsh thing, but ultimately it was to rally around Amanda. And this was really sweet in this Old Navy. It was actually really nice. Paige says, Amanda, I wish you saw yourself like we see you.
Yeah.
One of the most creative, funny people in the world. You are so much bigger than Loverboy. I see you as like the creative director taking on a full project with your taste and everything. And I actually thought that was like beautiful because it touched Amanda to where she doesn't have, I guess she has low self-esteem and doesn't trust herself. I
did like that by the end of the conversation, they released Kyle from the narrative and we're like, we can blame him all day long, love doing that, but ultimately you're the one holding yourself back. Because I was going to say, I was like, I mean, she's resting on Kyle's laurels because that's an easy place to rest. Like that's a job that is assumed and like she can do a portion of what she likes doing there and it's happening in her house and like he's leading the business portion and she can just do the part she wants to do. But it would take a lot more energy and effort for her to do it alone, and she's the one that hasn't done that. Right. So like that's her problem.
Yep. There's merit to that. I think so as well. But I just, I agreed with the sentiment overall. Like, I just think that they're coming to the place where Amanda needs to move on from Loverboy or just reduce Loverboy's impact in her life to maybe 10%.
Yeah.
And then
she revealed her fashion design interests. I'm like, let's see you do a collab with a brand or something,
Yeah. And it was perfect. Bathing suits is what she wants to do. I was
for
like,
big titty girls.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, oh, Summer House, it already is launched. On Summer House, anytime you want to do that, everyone is going to support you.
Lover
you get to
girl
wear
bikinis.
Yeah, totally. Like it's the perfect thing to introduce into the Summer House
Sierra
universe if she wants
as a model.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
Yeah, so it was great. I liked that scene. I thought it was really sweet. They did something with that Old Navy ad that I really liked. I wanted to say one thing. When you were saying that Paige and Kyle thing, where she was like, I'm not going to throw Kyle under the bus. One underrated special thing that I do like is Paige's turn towards Kyle throughout the run of Summer House. Like she used to be pretty negative about Kyle.
Yeah.
And used to not really like him.
Yeah.
And say like, I remember she had very dismissive things. Like she kind of loves Kyle now, which is really sweet.
Craig is what changed it, because I remember she used to be so mean to Kyle and be like to Amanda, like, I don't know how you like live with someone like that or whatever. And then, Craig acted a fool for a season or two and embarrassed her. And I was like, now you have to see how it is to have an embarrassing boyfriend that you love anyway.
He was like, I'll show you a drunken boyfriend.
Yeah. And then she had to be like, fuck, he's even worse.
She's like, I like Kyle now. No, I have, I think that the spark of Kyle, I agree, that's it. That's for sure a part of it. But I also just believe the spark that we all see in Kyle won her over.
Yeah.
In addition to also, she's like, oh, I have a drunk boyfriend.
Totally. All right. Carl drives to New Jersey. His stepdad answers the door in a More Life tee.
Yep. He goes, Carl, I think you gave me this t-shirt.
Where else did he fucking get it?
Right, it's true. I can't believe that Carl made More Life merch.
I know. I'm like, maybe you don't wear that. That was like his Cocaine Carl era.
Yeah, and also it's the name of a Drake album.
Oh,
so
really?
I'm surprised that he was able to secure the copyright.
Not trademarked.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
But yeah, he reiterates that his mom is his best friend. That she met Lou online. Yep. And then, if we remember, they got married during COVID, and everyone in the Summer House watched it on Zoom.
Yeah, I remember.
And that was the week before his brother died.
Yes.
So, like, very sad.
Horrible.
And so he's talking to them. He's like, like, I'm 38. This might be my last summer to like whoop it up. Like, I don't, and his mom is kind of like already like, why do you say that? Like, what's the problem? What's going to change?
He goes, things will get serious. And she goes, marriage will make it serious. She's really coming from a skeptical place. Like, right from the start.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it is like a weird point of view, because it's just like, okay, like you party in the Summer House with your fiance and then you'll party with your wife. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
And he's like, well, Lindsay wants to start a family. He said that his brother's death made him like really appreciate family, and he knows that that's something he wants. And Lou is like, I remember that Lindsay was sober for a while, and I'm sure that made you feel really supported. And he's like, it did. And he's saying that like he doesn't need her to quit drinking, but he wants her to have a healthy relationship with alcohol. Was it on I think it was on the after show that he throws her under the bus a little further and says that Andy brought up at last reunion, he told Lindsay she should do Al-Anon, or he said Al-Anon is your friend, which is like a program for like loved ones of alcoholics for like how to cope with that. Yeah. And she said on the reunion that she had a Google Doc from a friend of like Zoom meetings that she could join or whatever. And Carl said that she like never mentioned that again, and that's not something she ever participated in. Yeah. Which like I'm not going to throw her under the bus for that. Like that's not her responsibility to become like a full-time sober advocate or whatever. But I do feel like she kind of like double dipped on like wanting the glory of being seen as like a supportive saint while also just like doing whatever she wanted.
Stolen valor.
Kind of.
I agree with that. I just think that I don't want to use Lindsay, drinking as like one of the negatives, because Carl did say like it's okay, but Carl keeps reiterating, and I feel like he has to keep saying, I don't like alcohol for Lindsay when she starts fights out of nowhere and starts screaming and getting mad at me for no reason, or we have a bunch of miscommunications. That's what I don't like. Yeah,
which if you watch it is very evident. And then on the after show, when Gabby and Lindsay are in their little yes man tete-a-tete, Gabby goes, they're doing the narrative that Carl doesn't let Lindsay have any emotions except for happy ones. And Gabby goes, it has nothing to do with alcohol. And I'm like, what are you watching? Because we saw like 8 times this season where the second she gets drunk, she turns into a demon.
Yeah. Anyone who gets drunk, when you get really drunk, it's like a flip of the coin. You could totally have an angry freak out, or you don't make sense. We saw it with Luke and Kristen. He like got all mad about the douchebag comments. It's just like he's drunk. Yeah. Like people, like that just happens. And Carl doesn't want he doesn't want horrible fights to happen while Lindsay's drunk, and then he's the sober one who remembers everything the next morning.
Like clean up the mess. And Lou is like, do you live in fear of those explosions? He's like, because Memorial Day weekend, you came here and you were really hurting. And he's like, honestly, it seemed like you were in an abusive relationship.
And he goes, I know that's a strong word that I'm using. But yeah, so at this point, at first I was like, wait, is Lou going to make this declaration that they're not marriage material with just the evidence that he has to go off? I was like, I don't know. That is a strong claim to make. But when he added in this Pittsburgh mystery fight that we don't know about, this like horrible, horrible fight that Carl came home for crying that he told him about, I'm like, okay, you've seen enough. Yeah. You've seen all the stories. You just heard this new evidence. Plus you have the Pittsburgh horror story that you found out. It's like, they have enough to go off now to make this declaration.
And he's like, Carl said, part of him wishes that he didn't run home and tell them about that, but he was also like, there was a long time when I didn't tell anyone anything because I was afraid that if she found out that I told anyone problems we were having, that she'd be pissed. So he was like actively living in fear. Under all of this, they're playing like literal horror music, like scary music, and Lou is like, if you're having problems now, getting married will not solve them, which I think should be very obvious to anyone getting married. Like, I don't know why people think that. Yep. Carl is like, yeah, sometimes I wonder, based on the problems we're having and what she gets mad at me about, I wonder if I'm even the right guy for her. And Lou's like, no. He's like, that is not indicative of a healthy relationship. He's like, it's honestly just way easier to break up before getting married than to get divorced.
Yeah. And Carl's mom, like, she let Lou have this conversation.
She's stressed on the side.
Yeah. I mean, he's a marriage ordained minister. Yeah. He said, with my ordained minister brain, I would never bless you guys as a couple.
I would never bless this mess.
I would never bless this mess. And you can tell Carl's mom agrees with all of this and is letting Lou say it for her.
Yeah. Like she kind of adds in little caveats. Like he's like, I was a minister all my working life. Some couples I would see over time, like, I wouldn't marry them. And it almost seems that way with you and Lindsay. He's like, I'm not doing your wedding, but if I was, I don't know that I would do it. And the mom is like, not right now.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like the relationship needs more work first. And Carl's like, I don't know what to do.
And then I do love when Carl's mom, because they have a beautiful relationship. I love their their relationship together. She goes, I just want the best relationship for you, Carl. You deserve it.
Yeah.
I'm like, of course. She's his mom. Like, she just wants him to be happy.
Yeah.
And she's worried about these Pittsburgh,
Meltdowns.
appearances. Like, she's worried.
Yeah.
Lou's worried. You're worried.
Yeah.
Kyle's worried.
Yeah. Lou is like, I don't think you're ready for this, Carl.
Craig's worried.
You're setting yourself up for a world of pain.
You're setting yourself up for a world of pain.
And he goes, and I know that part of you knows this as well, which I was like, that's so brutal, because he's like, obviously that like shook him to his core. Like, everyone in the comments that's being a shithead.
Oh, I love that. The first shithead accusation. I love it. You total
They're
shitheads.
like, Lou ruined their relationship. I'm like, all he said was that you should think twice about getting married if you're fighting this much. That's all he said.
I could not imagine a world where you could criticize Lou. We already said it. Where you could criticize Lou for being concerned about the relationship that we have all witnessed, this horrible, that Andy Cohen declared officially awful.
Yeah.
Like, everyone knows this was a horrible relationship except Lindsay.
Everyone's lost their mind. I sometimes just read Lindsay's comments just to like see where we're at as a community. And there was one that said, a woman said, my fiance just broke off our wedding a month before. Thanks for showing me that like I'll be okay or whatever. And she responded, fuck that coward. Like, get your girls together and have some fun. I was like, it's now cowardly to end a relationship that doesn't work. Like,
Yeah.
That's like the least cowardly thing. That's like the hardest thing in the world to do. Is to be like, I know we've sent out the invites and spent a fuck ton of money, but actually I think it'll ruin our lives. Please, I can't. That's like the coolest thing you could ever do in your whole life, is to like stop that.
Yeah, it's opposite of cowardly. I mean, if being brave is having a lot of concerns about your relationship and going through with a marriage and trying to work on them after, I don't know who ever would want to be brave. I think Lindsay has definitely lost the plot on what she's trying to advocate for here. She has no idea how she's trying to navigate it. She's got pro Lindsay fans that are coming to her and she's like, yeah, I agree with you. Fuck that coward. Oh, I'll take your support. She has no like, I just think that her support base is so fucked up right now that she'll take anything she can get.
Yeah. So yeah, she I feel like she, in the after show and on Watch What Happens Live, was doing a little bit of like a stand-up bit about like, she was like, if I'm gonna have Carl's like 10-pound like basketball playing baby, like I'm gonna need to do maternity leave. And I'm like, you guys make a combined like at least $500,000 a year. Like, you can take maternity leave. Like, don't pretend that like you can't do whatever you want.
They make more than that, you know. Yeah. I thought about this. Like, they're both probably touching like $1 million a piece for being on a show for this long.
I'm just like, what are we even talking about? And then Carl, I like that he's a little nastier on the after show because he's had time to like see what he's working with. Yep. And he's like, Lindsay has this pattern of being judgmental of her ex's careers. He's like, I had a long conversation with Everett about this. I was kind of like, that was the one thing I was like, don't talk to Everett. Imagine the fucking hellish stuff that Everett says. Like, I was like, I absolutely hate Everett. So yeah, he's kind of scary. Don't get your advice from Everett. But, you know, Stravi. Yeah. I forget. I need to revisit. Someone was talking in our comments about what she was mad about Stravi for, and for him he was working too much. He was playing World of Warcraft when he should have been filming scenes. Right. He said he was working, and then all of a sudden they'd pull the audio thing out, and it would say slay the dragon, Stravi. And so I don't. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I guess I just think that I think that what I was saying about striving or whatever, it's like they're obviously very wealthy. Yeah. He's doing the same thing that you do. How much more do you really need him to do? Like, a lot of people would just be satisfied with what they're doing now, and they're both very successful. Mm-hmm. So like we said about the New York thing, it's like, it doesn't matter. You both are doing fine. So I don't even let that, negative against Carl even factor into my decision making. And the world shouldn't either. That's why I like that he got out he put on his little accountant's
Yeah,
cap
I
and was
loved it.
like, okay, so I made 70K, you made 150. Like, I wanted him to be like, we've been on for 8 seasons. The calculation is like the return rate and the annual
Yeah,
bonus.
I wanted
we
it
got
too.
X for BravoCon. We got like, I was like, let's do it.
I wanted it. I wanted it too. I don't think if anybody is clinging on to that as your justification, Carl should work harder. It's like, really? You're really
No,
advocating
there's some like
for...
real like trad wife comments in there that are like, the husband needs to provide.
Like, yeah, and we're doing the exact opposite on Vanderpump Rules, where we're loving and cherishing Brock for like supporting Sheena while she's the breadwinner. Like, we're fully advocating and loving that. And then on Summer House, we're being like, Carl, work harder.
Yeah.
For Lindsay.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that Summer House is doing well. This wasn't my favorite episode, but those scenes that we talked about, I absolutely love. So
Yeah. The last thing I'll say is Carl said that he didn't expect Lou's comments. Like, he thought it was going to be like how's the wedding planning coming along? And that like he was surprised, even though that's not the first time they've expressed concerns. And he said that after that conversation, once they stopped filming, that like they didn't talk as a family for like an hour. He just like went upstairs and was like, holy shit.
Yeah, he was actually blindsided by what Lou said.
Lou's a little producer mind.
I loved what Lou did. He
Yeah.
was great on camera. He was brave
Yeah.
to tell that. I mean, Carl's mom couldn't do it. She was sitting there. She
I
agreed with
know.
everything he
She
said,
was shaking.
but she let Lou. And then
Lou
I think
said he stands by his words. He said he spoke his truth.
Carl
no
sa-
regrets.
Carl said he FaceTimed him after the episode, and yeah, he said, I fully stand by it. And then he said he started rubbing his hands together and laughing maniacally that his work was done and that he sabotaged a good relationship, and it was perfect.
Yeah, she Lindsay on Watch What Happens really acted like something horrible was done to her by that conversation. And then I think we talked about it on Patreon, but Watch What Happens with Lindsay ended with Andy gave her the opportunity to share the top 5 things she's learned about herself this season, thinking that it would be something like about that she treats her partner a certain way, or like
Not to
drinks
accuse
too much.
not to accuse your partner of doing drugs when they're sober.
And it was just like 5 compliments.
She was like, I actually am much funnier than I thought I was. I actually drive vehicles a lot better than I ever thought. I'm actually a better swimmer than I truly ever thought I was.
Andy, with every number that went down, he was so shocked. He was like, wow, like really thought these would be deeper.
Andy, I think, is probably realizing that his stand-up for Lindsay at a certain point is probably at its limit, I think.
Yeah.
After the shoe throwing accusations at Watch What Happens Live, and then her completely blowing the top 5 on Watch What Happens Live, like, he must be like, what the hell? Why was I standing this
I know, he
relationship?
needs to do more to support Carl on the air.
Yeah. Also, if you're a Lindsay fan and this just shocked you to your core, I mean, truly think about what Lindsay has done and really, really assess if you're going to stand someone that accused their sober significant other of doing coke. And then after 5 weeks, you thought that there was just no fights, so it's time to forgive her because it was seemingly okay.
Yeah, I'm excited for the reunion to see. I hope things go well and don't get out of hand and like, misconstrued.
Let's hope not. Let's everyone stand firm. Paige, I hope you've watched this season of Summer House and realized what the hell were you thinking trying to stand Lindsay for no reason.
Yeah.
And your hatred of Danielle, I think, is misguided. Come back to the good side. But yeah, I Summer House.
Kyle will be kind of out of the woods this year at the reunion.
Oh, right.
He doesn't have much to answer to.
No, he's gonna
Like
be great.
their marriage problems or whatever, but that's not like that dramatic.
He's gonna shave his mullet off.
Oh yeah.
Are you? I'm gonna be kind of sad.
Didn't Andy say he was gonna do it?
Yeah, Andy said he said he's gonna shave it off and he's gonna put the blonde hairs over his head for the full reunion.
Okay.
So that was Summer House, and that was also Turtle Time.
We covered a lot of ground.
That was a roller coaster of an episode of Turtle Time, I feel, for us.
Yeah.
We started in the day. I was wearing sunglasses. It's now pitch black. It's midnight. There's birds.
Birds are sleeping.
Birds are sleeping.
Owls are out.
Owls are hooting. It's midnight. And let's just say our little end of the episode stuff if you want to.
Yeah. Like I mentioned earlier, we do our Patreon every week. Join us there.
It's good, right?
We're on season 4. the shit just keeps getting good.
Yeah, and you said how we had a Patreon exclusive where we talked about Lindsay and our reaction to the top 5. We just slip in hot takes and commentary. If we're recording and we want to talk about Lindsay on Watch What Happens Live, we'll do it.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get over there, but it's always a good time. You can watch every episode on YouTube if you want to see Riley and his 3 blind mice glasses that are on YouTube every week.
It was really silly. I kept putting the back of the sunglasses. What are those things that hold them to your
like
ears?
A croaky?
No, yeah. What are the things that go on your ears? Sunglass stems. I kept doing this sort of comedic gesture where I was flipping them up and down, sort of like Jack Nicholson. You know what I'm talking about?
Kooky.
So watch that on YouTube, and then I'll just say this. If you enjoy Turtle Time and you enjoyed this 3-hour episode where we talked about everything in the world, please write a review because it helps us. It shoots us to the top of the podcast charts. It lets everybody know that this is an actual good podcast, right?
Yeah. I love reading them too.
I love it. They're so good. They're like pure, beautiful thoughts. We only have like 4 bad reviews, and obviously I read those every single day. They haunt me. So I will say, if you didn't like this episode and you're a huge Lindsay fan and you absolutely hated what we said, please think about it for a couple weeks before you write that hateful comment.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, this was Turtle Time. Amy, did we do a good job here tonight?
I do think so.
Good. This is a good episode.
Go see Challengers.
Go see Challengers. We started, and you know what? I think you said a good title. We never do this. I liked what you said, Scary Scandoval Waters.
Oh, okay.
You just said it off the tongue, off the rip, and I liked it. Scary Scandoval Waters.
Okay. Yeah, I like it.
Okay, well, let's think about it. All right. Good night, our Turtle Time Villa Rosa VIPs and Little Turtle Cuties. We love you so much, and we'll see you next week. Good night.
Good night. Go watch Ripley.
Go watch Ripley. Go watch Challengers. Go watch
West Side Story
go watch
2021.
Go watch Clockwork Orange. What were the other movies we talked about?
Just look up Mike Feist on YouTube.
Sounds good. Good night.
This one's for you.